And good morning. It is a Thursday edition of GCR. I'm Glenny's Griffin. Drew is allegedly stopping by at some point. If he doesn't, we'll survive. Coming up on the program today, we'll meet new Maryland baseball coach Matt Swope. Also, we'll head down to Bowie. Justin Armbruester has been hot this season. We'll chat with him, maybe making his way towards being a viable pitching prospect within the Orioles system. And more fun and frolic. Did you ever do the open for Fighting Words?
Yeah, I think I got a good one.
We'll see.
I'm excited about it.
We'll see. Well, okay. We'll see.
I mean, maybe I should have screened it with you, but I like surprises.
Perhaps you should have screened it. All right. All that coming up on the program today. More importantly, it is New Press Box Day. The new print issue is available now anywhere where you find Press Box throughout the region, including most of your area Royal Farms stores. You see Tony Siragusa on the cover as Dave Ginsburg did this month's cover story, Remembering Goose, as we look back on the life and the legacy of the great Tony Siragusa, who many of you were either reintroduced to or perhaps for some of you of a certain age, totally introduced to during the Bullies of Baltimore documentary earlier this year. And we dove into that, and Dave did a really great job also in talking about what Tony's family is doing with Goose Flights to try to keep his legacy moving forward. So really great cover story. Also inside this issue, a travel guide for the summer for sporting events and sporting activities throughout the state of Maryland. And Ty Karpovich on Tyler Wells. Great story from Bo Smolka on Adafe Owe and David Ajabo. So a lot in there in this new print issue of Press Box, which is available for free right now at your neighborhood Royal Farms. You can read it, as always, online at PressBoxOnline.com. Orioles lose 3-1. At least they didn't get no hit. We got that going for us, which is nice, and does put a little pressure on today's game, as Stan was talking about yesterday. Be really nice to win this series, keep that edge up on the Blue Jays, and, again, back up what happened against the Royals. Like, all those good vibes of winning 5 straight games and feeling like the tide had turned. Well, you lose today, and suddenly there's new perspective, which is you've lost 2 out of your last 3 series. Actually, it's 3 out of your last 4 series at that point, and all of the series that weren't against the worst team in baseball. So it doesn't seem like we should be panicked, or it doesn't seem like we should present it with like hyperbole or anything along those lines. But, you know, it's legitimate. I said 3. No, they won the Giants series.
So
they won the Giants series.
3
so
of
just
5.
be 2. Yeah, 3 of 5. Thank you.
Yeah.
3 of your last 5 series you would have lost at that point after you were not losing series at all to start the season.
4 of 6, I think, because they lost the Rangers and the Guardians.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's correct. That is correct. So, yeah, they would have lost 4 of their last 6 series. And, again, I don't – no, they split. They split. No, you're right. You're right. Yeah, that's right. Sorry.
Either way, Orioles.
Well, I'm just not trying to be – I don't want to be overly pessimistic. I don't want to be overly negative. I don't want to be any of those things. But –
because they still had a 5-game win streak in the middle of that.
Yes, but 3 of those games against the worst team in baseball. And that's the part that when we came in here on Monday, I kept trying to say, like, I get it. It's exciting. Aaron Hicks and Ryan O'Hearn and the whole thing. But I don't know how much we read into what happened this weekend. I think this weekend we largely dismiss. And if you take away this weekend, the trends aren't good. Not disastrous. It was good to go to San Francisco and win a series. But the trends overall aren't good. And, again, understandable. You lost your best player. This is going to happen. You didn't have a 5th starter there for a minute. We're not really sure if you have a 5th starter or not right now. All of those things. Legitimate. But still, the trends weren't good other than 3 games against the Royals this weekend. And you like the fact that they backed it up by scoring 11 runs the first game out, but then they turned around and, of course, scored 1 last night, and it took until the 9th inning, and they damn near got no hit. Now, get it. Jose Barrios is obviously very good.
Especially against the Orioles.
especially against the Orioles.
10-0
It's unbelievable,
in
isn't
his
it?
career. 2.66 ERA.
And
in
the
84 innings.
And
against
the
the
good
Orioles.
news today is that you get to, again, despite the fact that we suggested that maybe that he should be skipped, you get to throw your best starting pitcher. I guess the problem would be last night you got a really good start, and it didn't matter. You got a great start. You got a phenomenal start, frankly, and it didn't matter. So the bats, I can't believe I'm saying this, the bats have been my bigger concern lately because I think there's a lower end to the bats. The floor for the pitching staff at the moment is not all that bad. The floor for the lineup is potentially disastrous. There's a moment where all of these cats can turn into pumpkins outside of, Gunnar Henderson. Although, ironically, Aaron Hicks still managed to come through last night, even when it didn't look good and it looked like he was finally going to have a game where he didn't reach base. Sure enough, he got back up there with 2 outs in the 9th inning and delivered a base hit. The floor for the lineup right now is poisonous. Now, they haven't been performing at that for the most part. Last night was a bit of an anomaly, but that stretch where they were scoring 3 runs or fewer in most games, again, only kind of dissipated for 5 days. So I don't want it to be panic. I don't want to make it seem like it's the most important game of the year, anything like that. But I think they need to show a trend that that's not what this offense is. And kind of get going again before they go to Chicago this weekend. You say Kikuchi, and again, I hope that I reach a day where his name doesn't make me giggle, but I have not reached that day yet. I am not that years old. You say Kikuchi is who goes today for the Blue Jays. 2 follow-ups from yesterday in conversations that we were having. One, we had talked about the fact that why in the hell was this what the hell was the guy's name? Kalasvari.
Yeah.
What the hell was this guy part of the team? Well, as it turns out, the answer was he was on the taxi squad, and they made the decision late on Ryan Mountcastle, so he was all that they could do before the game. That was the only option they had to put somebody else on the team. So congratulations.
Orioles legend.
You got to say you played in a game for the Orioles, and now they're on with it. And as we kind of did the math on yesterday when Joey Ortiz did not make his scheduled appearance here on Glenn Clark Radio, that was because Joey Ortiz was getting called up, and we'll see what that means moving forward. I guess my question...
He's in the lineup today.
He's in the lineup today.
Yes.
Playing short?
Playing second, I believe.
Playing second.
I'll double check for you.
Right.
30 set, actually less than that.
I can pull it up, too.
He is playing second. Mateo's playing
second.
shorts. Mateo's playing shorts.
Arias is out of the lineup.
No, Arias is playing first base.
Arias? What?
Yeah.
What lineup do you have?
I have what I think is today's
Well,
lineup.
you know what I've got? I've got a very strange lineup that Rich Dubroff posted that involves Ryan Mountcastle playing first base.
Okay,
So that's probably not the right
not
one.
the right one. Yeah.
Probably incorrect. Although it does have Ortiz at say. This is a very weird post. I don't know what this is. This is a very strange post from Rich Dubroff 10 minutes ago.
Batting. That's
that
like
has
their lineup 2 weeks ago. Is what
was Ortiz playing 2 weeks ago and Tyler Wells pitching? I mean, like, this has got...
Is McKenna playing center?
He's got McKenna batting 6th.
Okay.
It's a very strange...
The lineup I'm looking at from MLB.com is McKenna batting 9th.
Well, I'm sure yours is the right one because Mountcastle cannot be in the lineup. That is not possible. Just a very odd lineup that Rich has posted. Yes, you're right. Ooh, this is.
But yeah, Ramon Arias. This is his first base debut.
Okay, sure. Why not?
I mean, Arias can play all the other infielders.
Let's just do anything. Let's just throw anything out there and see what happens. That's what they're going to try to do against.
They don't want to bet O'Hearn against a lefty. So
I mean, look, man, I'm not. Whatever. I'm not. God bless. The other story from yesterday related to the Orioles, of course, Reed Garrett is now on the team because Austin Voth is going to the injured list. This one's a little bit awkward for me and a little bit weird for me because my question would be, if you assume this, look, maybe it's legitimate, right? Like maybe Austin Voth really suffered some sort of injury yesterday. It feels far more like this is what you do because you're trying to delay the inevitable. and we keep talking about this, the Orioles don't want to give up on pieces. They don't want to expose them for another team to grab them. And again, I don't know that any with Voth in particular, I was more convinced that Perez would have a shot they picked up by somebody else than I was Voth. But I get it. Any of these bad teams can just take on anybody that they want. And the Orioles don't like that. They don't like just giving up on anything for nothing in return.
It's exactly what the Orioles did last year. They took a chance on Voth, and he turned out to be
very helpful last season. This season, not at all.
Right.
It's impossible. We're not going to get a straight answer as to whether or not there's actually a legitimate. Everybody could say one day, I'm feeling a little sore today. And they absolutely could say, oh, no, he told us he had some, they use the word discomfort. Anybody could say they've got discomfort. But, I mean, a real injury that if he was pitching well, would he be on the injured list right now? We'll never know. And we are being speculative, and you can say that's unfair, but come on, dude. Like, we all saw the same thing. You don't do this the day after the guy can't help you out in a 9-run game and have nobody speculate. That doesn't work that way when he stunk all season long. At some point, they're going to have to. And they would say, the real question is, what happens in 15 days? Because the first thing is, at whatever point, if Givens and Tate do get back here, and we'll find out, but if they do get back here, Reed Garrett will go. Of course.
Got a 0 ERA right now.
God bless him. And, Keegan Aiken can go again. Although if Austin Voth's not going to be on the team, Keegan Aiken's going to kind of have to be the long man for a little while, I think. I don't even know who else. I guess Bauman they could try to stretch out. They pitch Bauman in back-to-back days. I mean, I guess they could do that. By the way, I don't want to make too much of that last night, but a little bit weird that in a one-run game going into the 8th inning, they didn't
bring in Cano.
Yeah, and I don't want to make that too big of a story, right? I don't want to panic about that because you scored 1 run last night. Like,
yeah,
that's the story of the baseball game. But you didn't use these guys Monday.
They haven't pitched since Friday.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, that's a great point. You didn't use these guys Tuesday, and they were off on Monday. That's a great point. They haven't pitched since Friday. It's a 1-run game. Now, their internal answer might be, yeah, but we don't have another off day until Monday. And these games might all be close, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's a 1-run game. As it turns out, you did end up scoring a run. I'm a little bit befuddled that they didn't go to Cano to start the 8th inning, even though it wasn't a hold-save situation. It felt like the game was close enough that you should have been putting your best foot forward in that situation. And I'm not a Brandon Hyde hater. I'm not a he never gets anything right. It was second guessing. Like when the 8th inning started, I wasn't saying this to myself. But once I saw them getting Cano warmed up, I said, wait, what the hell? What is going on here? Why wasn't he out there to start this inning? Clean, fresh, haven't pitched an inning. Yes, it's possible you're going to need him every day for the rest of the weekend, and this you might have lost this game anyway because you just couldn't score any runs. But it's 1 run. And to your point, they hadn't pitched in 5 days. What are we doing? What was the thought process there? And I genuinely don't know the answer to that question. And maybe it was addressed after the game, and I just didn't watch the post-game press conference.
The only thing, just looking at, because Kiermaier led off that inning, he was a lefty.
So you wanted to have Coulombe in to face.
But then it was Whit Merrifield, Santiago Espinal, and then George Springer. They're all righties.
Yeah, and Kiermaier got a hit anyway.
Yeah, Kiermaier got a hit anyway.
So, again, you don't know that when you put Coulombe in, but
But he's got to face 3 guys.
Look, internally the answer could be, well, we just trust Coulombe, and there was a lefty up, and so we believed he was going to get the job done, and that way maybe we have Cano for the 9th inning, and if we can scratch a run across, then we could have Batista for the 10th, right? Like, that might be their thought process. If you really, were able to grab Brandon Hyde and get him to tell you the complete truth, was we were starting to think about the idea that this game could go 10 innings, and we wanted to line it up Coulomb, Cano, Batista. I'm telling you openly, it's second guessing. It's not. I was not in the moment saying, what the hell is going on? It was clearly after the inning was not going well that I said to myself, oh, what in the world was the thought process here? But I think it's reasonable second guessing. I think it's reasonable Monday morning quarterbacking. I think, in hindsight, a one-run game going to the 8th inning, you have that opportunity. They, again, probably want Batista for extra innings because he's the guy that you trust the most to get strikeouts, right? If the game goes to extras, you want the guy that's striking out everyone he faces right now because there's going to be a runner on second base. So that would probably be their warranted answer. But you got to get that opportunity, get the extra innings in order for that to matter. And it's sort of like what we talked about, with famously in 2016 with Ubaldo Jimenez and Zach Britton, that you're really going to let this go down. You're going to have this go down without firing the best bullet in your gun. You're going to leave that in the chamber and lose that way. You're going to lose having fired the Coulomb bullet instead of the flip side, which would be you use Cano and Batista, you scratch the run across, you go to extras, and you kind of have to live with it from there. Yes, we'd rather have Batista in extra innings, but we got to extra innings. I'm arguing with myself.
Yeah.
I'm not,
because obviously, it's June 14th, so it's hard to compare that to the wild card game of.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to make it seem like this is an eternally.
But when we have that taste in our mouth, still.
No, but I'm not.
later.
I'm not even really trying to compare it to the two. It's just sort of the thought process of I would prefer to fire the best bullets. I would
in a game
prefer.
that it seems like you can win.
Yes,
especially when we get no hit for 6.5.
And if the answer is we wake up today and you lost 1-0 and you used Cano and Batista, well, they're still available today. One inning last night does not make those two guys unavailable today. And if you win today, pitching Cano and Batista, I can live with the fact that might mean the first game of the next series, you don't have those guys available. I won this series. So if that means I'm going to have one day on Friday where those guys aren't available, well, there's 2 more games to try to win after that. So I'll live with that. I just wouldn't lose without having fired those bullets. That's the disappointing part. The disappointing part, and again, I admit, openly in hindsight, is that you lost the game and you didn't put your best foot forward. You didn't give it the best opportunity that you had. Doesn't make it the story. The story is scoring run. Unquestionably, that's the story. Here's this guy now. Wandered in studio this morning. Got his Jamaican blue, whatever he's got from Royal
Coffee.
Farms. Yes, correct.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you thought I was alluding? Well, I don't think they sell that at Royal Farms. Not yet. What happens on July 1st? Can they do that at Royal Farms? Is that an option?
Oh, I
for
don't know.
them?
I don't know what's going on July 1st.
Oh, you act like you don't know
I
what's
don't
going
know.
on July 1st. I'm so sure.
I don't. Tell me what's happening.
It's legal on July 1st, dog.
I thought it was legal now.
No, they passed it in November, and July 1st is the date.
So Royal Farms is going to be selling it?
I don't know. No.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I'm trying to figure out who can and who can't. I don't
Okay.
know what the rules are.
My wife's
who
van got
can.
totaled, so my whole life is in a.
What the hell happened?
Somebody hit her.
What the hell?
I know. So
Like-
we're
Is she okay?
Yeah.
Okay. The kid's okay?
The van's not.
Well, okay, but do you have insurance?
Well, we have insurance.
Okay.
And so does he.
Right.
It's his fault.
So then won't that
So-
take care of that?
Yeah, but have you had this
Well,
happen
no,
to you?
trust me. I know it's annoying. I understand that.
They're going to give you $6,000, and now you got to go get a new real car. And
Right,
like,
you only have 6.
I'm yelling
Yeah,
at. No,
right.
I'm saying they're going to give you $6,000 for the vehicle that you just put $3,000 into a year ago, and now I'm fighting with them, and I'm like, just go get us a new vehicle. And they're like, well, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
I'm calling them all kinds of names, and they're getting mad at me. And
Well, you know what?
let's talk sports.
We can agree on that.
Let's just
We
talk
can get
sports.
mad about it. Would you have put Cano in for the 8th inning last night? 1-run game. He hasn't been used since Friday.
Well, I was going to say he hasn't been used. It was 1-0, right? What's his name hit the homer, right? Well, just remind me because I was watching.
Yeah, Springer hit the home run.
I am like addicted to Inventing Anna, so I was watching that like a maniac.
Another show from 3 years ago. There's nothing that Drew's better at than finding
that
shows
was 3
from
years
3
ago?
years ago, 2 years ago, whatever it was.
Well, you know what she's doing now, right?
Well, she's probably trying to get rich again.
No. Oh.
Yeah.
When I tell you this, well, for sure. Well, it might not impact him. He doesn't carry that.
We're not going to spend 20 minutes talking about Inventing Anna.
No, this just so you know what she's doing now.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
So she was on.
Apparently, it was only last year.
Yeah, it was last year.
It feels like it was.
She was in jail.
Yes, I'm aware.
She's out on good behavior.
Yes.
And there were 2 rules. Number 1, she can't leave her property. She's on house arrest. And number 2, they've coded her computer. She cannot use the internet. You ready?
Okay.
Ready?
Okay.
So you know what she does?
What?
She puts a chef's table for 8 out in front of her her apartment in Manhattan on the bottom floor. She puts a table for 8 out on her property on the sidewalk in front of her. She has a chef cater the meal, and you pay $2,000 to have dinner with her, and she's sold out through August. And she does it 6 nights. She does it 6 nights a week.
I hate this country so much. I love it, but I hate it at the same time.
She does it 6 nights a week. She has 5 guests plus her. And you pay her $2,000 to say you had dinner with Anna Delvey.
This came up when
if she doesn't run for president, something's wrong.
No. No. You say something's wrong. It's quite wrong if we allow that in this country.
No, this is a free-spirited entrepreneur.
No, Inventing Anna was a huge problem. It's so problematic. It's that show that you were watching, and then you got to the end, and you realized how truly problematic the showmaker was, because the showmaker ultimately tried to portray her as some sort of victim.
Right.
And it's shameful.
It's
no
embarrassing. When she blows up at the girl about the credit cards,
yes,
and she says, like, "Is this what you called me here for?"
Yeah.
Why are you so dramatic? I'm dramatic because you owe me $62,000, and I'm going to punch you in the face.
Right. You're a fraud.
What do you mean? Right.
Have you watched the whole show?
I got 1 episode left.
It's infuriating.
No doubt. By the end of the show, you definitely want to punch her in the face.
I mean, beyond I want to punch the person who made the show in the face.
Well, I want to punch her.
It's very easy to figure out who the antagonist is in this program.
Well, it's better now.
God.
She makes $10,000 a day. She makes $10,000 a day.
The guy from the Fire Festival's going to make a new festival. This is what we do in this country. I went off about this the other day.
If I had $2,000, I'd put my name on the list.
No, why? Why?
I want to go up there and have dinner with her.
Let's talk sports. This goes back to what I said.
Let's talk sports.
Ask him who the celebrity was that he ran into while he was out in L.A. Ask him. I asked him if he bumped into any famous people.
Okay.
Yeah. I had a layover in the Vegas airport,
Okay.
and I saw at the airport bar lounge, just chilling on the bar, O.J. Simpson.
Oh, my God.
Now, he did not take a selfie with O.J. Simpson, so I can't, because that might have been enough for me to say we got to separate. But this is what exists now.
It has to be exhausting, though, being a detective and trying for all these years, going around trying to find out who did it.
Yeah,
it's got to be exhausting.
He's been looking for those real killers. One of these days.
I mean, you talk about an all-time troll job.
Yeah, right.
All time.
Oh, it's eternal, no question.
All time.
No
I mean,
question.
if you listed the top
out on the golf course being interviewed, like, just out here looking for the real killers. Just out here looking for the real ones.
You tell me a better scene ever than when he acted like he was putting those gloves on.
Oh, all right. Anyway.
And was
I know.
feigning as if they didn't fit.
But this is what I keep going on. There is no good. There's no bad. There's no evil. There's none of that. It's just famous or not famous anymore. That's all there is. Either you're famous or you're not famous.
Once we get when do we officially enter the presidential election? Like, when is that? January?
I mean, like the first.
When are we
really
really
the first
starting?
Caucus, I want to say, is like next February.
Okay, so January.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know, man. I think
if we don't start doing 2 or 3 hours a week podcast on that, just
okay,
just on that.
You want to talk about that?
Just on that.
You want to talk about that?
You thought the last one was fun? This one's going to be insane.
The hilarious part is all of these cats that are running against. They're all running against the guy while also trying to. The thing they're running on is how much they like the guy.
It's
That's all
unbelievable.
of them. They're all
It's
like,
unbelievable.
we love that guy.
It's going to be fun.
But vote for me too.
It's going to be fun.
So funny.
It's going to
So
be fun.
funny. All right. Yes.
All right, let's talk sports.
Should he put Cano in the 8th inning?
I mean, they weren't exactly hitting the cover off the ball either, right? Look, it's easy to say now, well, they scratched out 2 more runs, and that wound up winning the game. I mean, how at that point, did we even have a hit yet by that point? I don't even know if we did.
Yes, they got their first hit in the 7th. Yes.
Right, okay. But sure. Yeah, I mean, he hadn't pitched. What are you saving him for?
As we were talking through it,
I thought, by the way, I thought we were getting no hit.
I never thought they were getting no hit. I didn't think they were getting no hit. But I get it.
I thought in the 7th inning, I'm like,
Barrios has owned them. Like, I certainly understand.
The only time I've ever seen Barrios in person was that Twins game where he went 8 2/3.
Yes.
Plus 2,200 in the 7th inning.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
yeah. You threw that in there. How'd that work out for you? The only thought process I had that I could work through is the idea that maybe he was already thinking about the idea of there being extra innings, and I want Batista to pitch in the 10th.
Okay.
Because he's the strikeout guy, and if I got a runner on second base, I want to have my strikeout pitcher for that situation. But, you didn't get there. You went down. You lost a game without firing your best bullets, without putting your best foot forward.
Right.
I'm not trying to pretend like you should fire the manager over that, but I think that alone is kind of inexcusable. It's kind of inexcusable to lose a game when you didn't. It's one thing if those guys.
This whole thing, by the way, this whole season is Exhibit A unfortunately, for how little the manager really matters. It really is.
It's an interesting.
I mean, you think he's a really good manager?
I don't know if I have no idea if he's a good manager.
That's
or
my
not.
point. He's. They're
here's what I'll say.
They're going to make the playoffs, and he won't even matter.
But I'm going to make a John Harbaugh-like argument for this right now, right?
It's totally different in football.
Whoa.
It's different in football.
All of the talent that exists in certain places, and yet they can't figure out why it's not working. Like when you look at what's going on with the White Sox, or when you look at what's going on with I'll even throw the Yankees to some extent, even though they're not terrible, right? And the Blue Jays are probably a pretty good example of this, too. They started to look like they were turning around. But
way better players than we do.
When you see those places where the talent is overwhelming, and look, they all have their own issues. Judge is hurt in New York. Alec Manoah is a disaster.
Stanton's going to get hurt.
Right.
He'll miss 2 months.
And Manoah is a disaster in Toronto. Like everybody's got Tim Anderson sleeping with the entire city. Like everybody's got their own things. But the idea of those places having that much talent and can't figure it out.
A lot of people in Chicago, by the way.
That's a great point. I mean, like, God bless.
I mean, no wonder his batting average is 220.
Correct. When those managers can't get it right, I'm gonna have to give some credit, some amount of credit.
I get that. I mean, if the team stunk, we'd be beating him up.
Of course, but I think there's something to be said for culture, and there's something to be said for
1,000,000%.
And that's, by the way, the biggest defense of John Harbaugh that exists is we don't really know on a day-to-day basis how much John Harbaugh is contributing to the X's and O's of the Ravens winning games. But for the most part, most guys that have come through, not all of them, but most guys that have come through would tell you,
laud his leadership,
that it works.
Right.
That whatever it is,
it
works. And that's, I think, what I would say about Brandon Hyde at this point.
Right.
I don't
know that in the game he's not an expert at all, in my opinion. But I definitely would acquiesce on the other points. Like all the other stuff before the game is maybe way more important than the in-game stuff.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, keeping them together, keeping them happy, keeping them going.
Sometimes the in-game stuff really is dumb luck, right? Like, it's half of it you're told what to do anyway by somebody who says, here's what the matchups say. Just go,
And Buck might have been the opposite. Buck was a baseball savant who, if you look at his history, everyone says the same thing about Buck.
Yes,
when Buck shows up,
overmanages.
But they all say the same thing. When Buck shows up, you love Buck, and then 2 years later, you're like, "Man, how are we
had enough?" Because he's a micromanager. That's what he is.
And he's also, I don't even know the word.
But I don't feel that from the players at all. The players did not suggest that about Buck.
No, but I think I think he wears out his welcome.
But I think that's unique. I think that's within the organization. I think the other people in the organization get sick of Buck saying we should change the length of the bench.
Can't have these clocks like this, sitting
correct.
here like this.
We
don't want to be
showed
looking
up-
at a clock.
It's a famous story in Arizona. They're building a stadium in Arizona. He showed up and said, "You got to redo the benches in the dugout," and they looked at him like, "What?
Right.
What are you talking about?
Need the players sitting closer together.
Like,
you gotta
redo the
cut these-
benches in the dugout.
you gotta
Who
cut
are
these-
you?"
you
But
gotta
they had
cut these
given
off.
him
Right.
complete autonomy because they were launching a franchise.
Right.
And so he got whatever he wanted
He
in the
repainted.
process.
Remember, he repainted the locker
Yep.
room right away in
100%,
Baltimore.
100%.
We can't have these colors.
That was the type of stuff. So I don't think the
Right.
players never really were all that bothered by any of those things because they were more front office, or I don't even know if it's front office that you would say, management, whatever you want to say, that type of micromanaging that he would be doing over little things that a baseball manager
I just think if
typically
Hyde
has no say
I think
over.
if Hyde got the bird flu and he was out for a week, they'd still go 5-2.
Yeah, I don't know. Like if maybe because the culture at this point is what it is, and so it doesn't matter if he's actually there or not. Like I can kind of accept that. At the same point, right now, I don't know if they're going 5-2. They got a hit.
They're fine.
They're
43-25.
I understand that. Nobody's trying to say that there's panic or that they're going to.
They are. I think that's
you.
right.
Thank
I think that's right.
That sounds
43-25.
right. That sounds right.
43-25. Look, I think there's an argument now. I'm almost going to go counter to what we've been talking about in the last month. I almost think, other than a couple of more bullpen arms, I'll always say you can never have enough of those. Other than that, I'm not so sure they should do anything at the deadline.
All right, we'll disagree
honestly,
on that for sure.
I don't think they should do anything at the deadline.
They have a huge problem with Tyler Wells' innings. That's
But I'm saying, other than arms, if
But-
you want to
but-
make an argument about some pitching,
well,
no problem.
That's when you say
But-
bullpen. I still think there's a starting pitcher is going to have to be the answer. You're going to have to get another starting pitcher because you're going to either have to skip Tyler Wells a bunch or you're going to be shutting him down.
right.
And I hope
This
it's
is
not
where the
the-
Rodriguez thing is a problem.
It's certainly where the Rodriguez thing is a problem. Or
So
yes,
who do you get? Giolito or one of those guys?
Yes,
or
correct.
Burns or one of them?
Yes, one of them, of course.
Okay.
Brandon Woodruff, all in. Like, whoever it is,
Okay.
go get.
I just don't know that in the field. I don't know that I would go messing with any of this. Honestly,
I cannot.
I might leave it alone.
I am very skeptical of the answers being Aaron Hicks and Ryan O'Hearn. I'm
Are
extraordinary.
you? Have you seen them?
I understand that. It's been fun.
Every time I say something about Ryan O'Hearn,
I get it.
he's the star of the game.
I understand all of that. I am very skeptical on you getting through the
Just
entire.
remind me about a guy named Jake Fox.
Thank you. He was great for spring training. What did he do in the regular season? You were enamored though.
Well,
You
he was
love
the only
that
one that
guy.
would talk to us.
I don't think he was the only one that would talk.
Pretty
to
close.
Us. That's not true.
Pretty close. back
JJ
then.
Hardy wouldn't talk to us.
No, he would as long as you
Wouldn't
as
stand up,
as long
right.
as you kneel down.
Correct.
I'll talk to you, but I'm not going to stand up. Can you kneel down in front of me? Yeah, I think I'm good with that one,
Yeah,
JJ.
right.
Appreciate you though.
I think we did it.
I didn't kneel down for him. I kind of leaned over in his face.
I think we did it anyway. You were so excited about Jake Fox, though. You guys are going to be buddies.
He was
Didn't
the only guy
you get tickets from him for one of the
he was
games?
the only guy to talk to us.
Didn't he turn? Didn't
No one else was allowed to talk
I'm
to
pretty
us.
sure Drew went in the clubhouse that day and was like, "I get 2 goals here. We're gonna do some interviews, and I need some tickets to the game on
Yeah, I
Sunday."
got my kids here.
Yeah.
Got my family here.
And so he got Jake because Jake Fox was the nicest guy in the room. He was like, "Jake, can you give me your tickets to the game on Sunday?" And I'm pretty sure he did. And so that's the reason why you're still enamored with Jake Fox. To
We led the
this day.
majors in spring training home runs.
Home runs, 100%.
You
I-
never did.
You're right. I never did that. I think we're being too casual. I think we're overestimating a weekend series against the worst team in baseball.
Oh, they were terrible.
They're literally worse than the Athletics.
Yeah, they're awful.
I think
they
we're-
got great uniforms though.
That's
I
fine.
swear.
I think we're overestimating that.
great
when
stadium.
if you separate those 3 games, the recency would tell you that the offense is a problem. That they are scoring 3 runs or fewer more frequently than not. That the 3 runs or fewer, if you get rid of those 3 games, is
Right.
something like 10 out of the last 15 games, something
Okay.
in that neighborhood. And I think we overestimated the value of a 3-game series against the Royals. Don't get me wrong. I'm
I'd
glad
agree with
they did what they were supposed to do. But to just assume that you're going to get through this thing on, hey, Gunnar Henderson's turned things around, which is great. Like, he's been unbelievable.
Oh my God. He's
no
become
question.
Ted Williams.
He's been outstanding.
Right.
And Aaron Hicks and Ryan O'Hearn, I'm not going to join you there. I think that turns into a pumpkin at some point.
Okay.
And I think that whether that bat
I don't know, man. I just don't. I don't know about that. They look like they found something. Hicks found something.
But a lot of guys have found something for 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay.
That's happened over.
Well, let's come back in 3 weeks.
Jorge Mateo was the best player in baseball in the first month of the season.
He's better than he was, though. I mean, he's at least had a decent last 2 weeks.
Not really, but in comparison,
right.
Yes, he's hitting 220 instead of hitting 160. I get it. You can. This is now, if he could do this, you could make the Belanger argument. Before, he wasn't even Belanger.
Right.
He was a pitcher at best.
Tommy hit his 21st homer last night.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I figured we'd go somewhere else for a second.
21 homers.
Figured that.
For a pitcher.
I don't think that Ryan Mountcastle's the answer either. So the argument.
I got the answer.
What's that?
Left-handed bat. Plays in Chicago.
Okay, I know that's your guy. I love him too, for what it's worth. I love the guy. Don't get me
He's dying
wrong.
to get out of Chicago.
Well, I can't blame him either.
Oh.
Can't blame him for that either.
He would go anywhere.
I have no doubt that that's true. I have no doubt.
Well, I don't know that for a fact, of course.
Right.
I'm
right.
just guessing.
Gonna assume that he would be excited about anywhere but Chicago.
Anywhere.
I understand that. My point would be the offensive answer could be internal. It could be that Jordan Westberg and Colton Cowser could be your answer. But, they should probably be here to work through whatever struggles they're going to have in adjusting to try to figure out if they can be your answers.
Right.
Because if they're going to get here in July and then struggle, and then you pass the trade deadline, then what happens if they don't get things turned around at that point? I am more concerned about the offense than I think the average person is, because I think we have sold ourselves on, well, the Orioles, because it's worked with Hicks and O'Hearn, well, the Orioles can just find anybody and make it work. And I don't think that's real. I think it can be real for stretches of time. I think it can be real to be competitive. But to try to compete to, win this division?
Oh, they're going to win the division going away.
Okay.
They're going to win the division going away.
All right.
They're going to win the division by 5 or 6 games.
Oh, yeah? What else do you just want to say things?
You'll see.
Well,
Mark it down. Write that down.
I'll see. Without making a move.
Well, they're going to do. I don't even know what they're going to do. They're going to. Doesn't matter. They're going to win.
It doesn't matter what they do.
Well, I'm saying they're going to win the division 5 or 6 games, and I don't know what they're going to do. But they're going to win the division by 5 or 6 games.
What else is going on in your world?
That's it.
What else you got going?
Scott Stallings buried the first hole.
It is underway, isn't it? Out in L.A., Los Angeles.
It'll be cool tonight. Watching it 8 o'clock, 8:30. Watching.
Well, you'll be watching at 8:30.
What are you going to be doing? It's sports.
It is. You're right about that. It is sports.
I don't know if you've heard or not.
Unfortunately,
Golf's been in the
there's a
news.
soccer match tonight, so I'll probably. I'll probably watch it. Oh, that's
Okay.
not until 10 o'clock, right? The soccer match.
Who? I don't know. Oh,
USA
it's,
Mexico.
It's
Gold
10,
Cup.
It's 10 p.m. Yeah.
No, it's not the Gold Cup. It's the other
CONCACAF.
the fake thing that they came up with.
The Nations League.
Nations.
Yeah, but the real players playing this. This is not a
right.
Gold Cup
The
roster.
Gold Cup roster was terrible.
Well, it's always terrible.
Was this the first game in the Nations League for us, or no?
No, they play
It's like
round. This is the semifinals final. They play round robin games.
And we
now.
don't even know about those.
they were in February. I want to say
They were all on Paramount, weren't they?
It's on Paramount tonight too.
Oh, son of a bitch. Well, it's on Univision too, right? So I can watch the Spanish broadcast. That's what I'll do tonight. I'll watch that.
Probably, yeah.
I don't think I have a Paramount.
I would watch the Spanish one, but I don't understand what they're saying.
It's a great point, right? It's always very difficult to try to figure
I don't
out.
understand what they're talking about. So you just watch it. You're like, I don't know.
Right.
I have no idea.
I've had to do that a lot recently.
You just wait for goal.
Although it's not on HBO Max. It's just on Paramount.
I saw it was only on Paramount.
HBO Max. What the hell would be on that for?
Well, they were putting matches on because Turner got the rights to
yeah, there
a
were
lot
some
of
women's
US
games
soccer,
on
so
Max.
They were putting
Yeah,
some
I
of these things on
No,
Max.
I'm protesting them.
Oh, what'd they do?
The women.
Oh, the women? You're protesting the
Protesting
women?
them. They make too much money.
Oh, okay. This is a bit that we're gonna. Yeah, you're gonna be. That's gonna be your bit.
Equal pay.
Okay.
Once they got equal pay, I checked out.
Who's gonna win? Oh, you said it's gonna be Scheffler, right?
I think Scheffler's going to win.
Scheffler's gonna win the U.S.
I've-
Open.
I mean, wagering wise, I stayed away from all of the big names. It's because there's.
Well, Scheffler's a pretty big name.
That's what I'm saying. Wagering wise, I stay away from all of them. There's no
okay.
money to be made.
Right.
You put up
So
$50.
who'd you put money on then?
Okay, so I went with.
This will be a fun game. Have I ever heard of the golfer?
I bet these 6 guys.
Okay.
To
To win or to top
win.
5? Okay.
To win, and they're all in the 200 to 1 category.
Oh God. All right.
Yeah, I need a new van.
I mean, you're gonna lose that $6,000.
Lucas Herbert,
0 for 1.
Australian guy.
Justin's brother, right?
Um,
Well, it's L.A., so I
Could be
mean,
Khalil Herbert's brother.
yeah.
Eric Cole.
All right, 0 for 2.
Adam Cole's brother.
Maybe. How do you know Adam Cole? Are you a big pro wrestling guy all of a sudden?
Yeah, because
Adam Cole,
being around
baby.
you.
Okay, he doesn't even
Now
know.
I'm looking down the list here to see if they've even started.
What time do you have to leave today? What's your deal today?
I'll leave here about 11 o'clock. I got some.
Okay, but we got a
stuff
guest coming on at 10:45.
Okay, good. We'll talk to him then. Anyway, I just bet on a bunch of those.
Well, okay, so we're 0 for 2.
Yeah, Lucas Herbert, K.H. Lee.
Yep, 0 for 3.
He's Korean.
Did these guys have to qualify, or are these
no,
real
these
players?
are all legitimate players.
You say so.
Anyway,
I'd never heard of the guy. I'd never heard of the guy that won the thing the other day. Who is that guy? Taylor, right?
Oh, Nick Taylor.
Nick
He's a nice
Taylor.
player. Canadian.
It
He's a nice
was a
player.
hell of a putt. I know that much. It's an unbelievable
How about
putt.
Nance with the glorious and free call?
Yeah, glorious and free. Well, how about the dude getting tackled on the green?
That was hilarious.
That was
Adam
incredible.
This
Awesome.
golf course. The only reason I'm even thinking about whether or not one of these long shots could win is that no one's ever played this place. It's never been. It's not. I mean, guys have played it, but not in this condition. Not with the rough like it is.
No, so what's the winning score for this tournament? Is this a typical U.S. Open? Is this?
This will be in the 6 to 8 under range, I think.
Okay. All right.
But again,
this
no
isn't
one knows.
this isn't a 1-over is going to win.
I don't
the
think
US
so.
Open.
I think there's no. I think those days are gone. First of all, they're gone because these guys are way too good. They hit the fairway way too much.
Somebody there was some hubbub on the internet. Is there like a 300-yard par 3?
There's a 297-yard par 3 and an 80-yard par 3.
Wait, there's an
It's hilarious.
80-yard par 3?
It's hilarious. And a 540-yard par 4. The golf course is insane.
That's a really
It's an
weird.
80-yard par 3.
Okay.
From here to the, that's 55 yards. From 80-yard par 3.
How's Jay Monahan doing?
Old Jay. Jay's out with a medical issue.
That's what I hear.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, that's
don't
what
know-
I hear.
I don't know
There's a
what-
bit of a medical issue for
I
Jay
told you
Monahan.
last week that this thing, this whole thing is far, far from a done deal.
But the government's not really going to shut it down. I don't believe
I don't
that.
think it's even going to get to that. Here's what I think they did. As I read through, Jimmy, the only person in this that's even been remotely public about it is the guy that made the deal, Jimmy Dunn.
Right.
When you really read between the lines of this, I think that they got together and Jimmy Dunn said to Yasser Al-Yamanin or whatever his name is, look, you stop suing us, we're going to stop suing you. And if we can shake hands on that right now and take a year to figure out then, once we figure out that we don't want to sue each other anymore and we're on some sort of stable ground, let's take a year to figure out how we can make this work together. And I think they shook hands on that. And right away, Jay Monahan said, well, we got to have a press conference to announce this alliance. Because nothing else, there aren't any other details.
Right.
No one knows that the players can go back and forth. No one knows what's going to happen, who's going to pay them.
And haven't there been literally two very like Greg Norman essentially said.
Well, here's the thing that Jimmy Dunn said.
Yeah.
He said Jay Monahan runs LIV now.
Right.
Runs it.
Right.
The Public Investment Fund funds it.
Mm-hmm.
Jay now runs it.
Mm-hmm.
What? The PGA Tour is running LIV?
Mm-hmm.
Like that can't possibly be true. When you hear their side is, Dustin Johnson said last night on the Golf Channel, well, I talked to the, whatever his name is, the King Sabat or whatever his name. I talked to him. He said we're forward with LIV next year, 2024. Get all the dates together. You guys are playing. What are you talking about? So there is something wrong with this. There's been something wrong since the first day it was announced. You don't announce something like this without having all the bullet points right in front of you. Mm-hmm. Here's the deal. These players can come back. Here's their penalty. Here's their punishment. Here's what happens. Here's what happens to the guys who stayed. You don't make this sort of alliance unless you have all of that stuff already organized. They didn't have it organized. What they had organized was a handshake to stop suing each other.
Right. And
that's all they had.
They decided they were going to announce that was a partnership.
Right.
Okay.
We're joining forces.
Okay.
Okay. But what's that mean? And the biggest question is, what's it mean for the guys who didn't go? What are you doing with them? And how are you going to let these guys come back in? How are you letting them come back in?
Well,
carte blanche. Without,
or is the question that you're just attempting to run two different things?
Right.
That you're.
I've said this for 2 years. I don't understand why that. I just don't. I can't figure out for the life of me why this isn't the easiest solution. There is no way, even though I know they play 3 or 4 events in October and November, no one's paying attention to them. There's no way the PGA Tour would ever schedule any significant event against football. They've learned their lesson.
Mm-hmm.
They will never do it again. They did it with the FedEx Cup the first 5 years. They did it with the Tour Championship. They finally figured it out.
Well, they do the
People
Ryder
watch
Cup up against football.
But that's different. Because the golf world will watch the Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
The golf world will watch the Ryder Cup. The golf world won't watch. Will go to watch football games before they'll watch the second round of the FedEx Cup. They figured that out. So now they end the golf season before Labor Day. Why wouldn't they just play the live events overseas?
Right.
Where no one cares about the NFL on a relative scale.
Mm-hmm.
Go play in Australia and Morocco and Spain and Dubai. Go play all those events over there. In September, October, November, December, and even into January if you want, and let the players go back and forth. Who cares? Just let the players go. If Brooks Koepka wants to go over and play in Dubai in December, let him go. You're not playing an event.
No, I get it.
What do you care?
I understand.
So the funniest part of the whole thing is that the tour, if you pay attention to what Jimmy Dunn said, the tour gave in on this because the combination of raising the purses and the legal fees,
right,
they were going to go out of business.
Yeah, correct.
Like,
so they say, okay, we'll take your money.
So you have to assume, since they're pretty good at making money,
mm-hmm.
you have to assume the Saudis had figured that out. You have to assume that, right? Hey, they've raised their purses this year by $40 million, and they've spent $50 or $60 on legal fees. They're out $100 million. We got that in our back pocket.
Mm-hmm.
So why would the live guys have quit? And I think the answer is very obvious. They don't care about golf. They just want to own people and own money and own things.
When they got sold that this was the thing to do.
But the reason it was the thing to do is they own the players.
Right, correct.
So they decided, we'll buy these players, we'll make a team, and we'll make them into a team, and we'll sell the team for $1 billion, and someone will own Brooks Koepka, Dustin Johnson, Patrick Reed, and I don't even remember who the other guy is on their team. But they don't. This could have been rugby. They don't care about golf, and so I think when the tour said, "Hey, we can't keep doing this lawsuit back and forth," I can't for the life of me figure out why the Saudis didn't say, "Well, that's too bad. That's a shame."
Well, I can understand their answer being, if you mean to tell us we don't have to run it any longer, there's no skin off our ass. All we got to do is give you the money. You figure it all out.
Well, that's what they did.
I can understand that thought process.
Because they don't care about golf.
But they might very well have said, but we still want the events. Like, we still want to own the events.
Right. That's all they want to do is own things. They just want to own.
Griffin, I just sent you the phone number if you want to try him. If you want to try that, we can do it that way. I don't know what's going on over there. Griffin's just sort of sitting there pondering. It's very strange.
It's okay. He's got a lot of stuff going on.
Does he?
Yeah.
Does he?
He's running this thing for you.
Well, by the way,
we'll see you doing it.
That's a great point.
Yeah,
that's a great point.
See you doing it.
So, when do you think we'll actually learn something?
I would say in the fall would be my guess.
They try to get through.
Yeah, they're gonna get through. I mean, I just don't. I mean, the three most important topics by far are: is there going to actually be a functional live tour next year? That's topic number one. Topic number two is, if there isn't one, are you allowing those players back onto the tour? And the obvious answer to that is they are. So then 2A would be, then how are you going to punish them in a way that satisfies the guys who stayed? And then number three is, when all of that settles and you've created this new entity that they're talking about, how do the tour players who stayed get their piece of that? Very similar to what happened with Messi and the Apple TV thing. Like, how do these players? How do you make up, unless you write him a check? How do you make up for the fact that McIlroy was going to get $100 million a year for 4 years?
And now you turn around and got your money, right?
You're just going to give him $100 million?
But is the answer to say, well, now we're going to let you go do this, and you can?
Well, but again, you got to answer these 3 questions,
right?
Well, how quickly can you answer those? I think this takes a lot of sweat equity to sit down in a room with some people who are really smart and say, okay, first and foremost, what are we doing with Liv? We keeping Liv, we throwing Liv away, what are we doing? I think that there's no question the tour wants Liv to go away. There's no question about that. Like they don't want any competition.
Sure.
Then you do.
But wait a second. But if it's theirs, if it's just the PGA and PGA International, like that's a very different.
Right.
Like it's. I do think that becomes intriguing at that point, that we can have 2 separate entities and they can both be profitable and we can own all of it.
Right. Well, but then comes the issue of the initial lawsuit that was put together by Liv was about what? A monopoly.
Right. And now you have a monopoly.
And
that's
now
where the
you've
Justice
created
Department
one.
comes
And
in.
that's where
I agree.
And that's where Elizabeth Warren comes in. I don't know that you want.
I mean, she's a
I
hound.
don't know if you want her fangs
She
in
is
you.
a hound. There's no question about that. Today's show brought to you by your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. The Toyota Tacoma comes in a range of models and trim lines, so you can choose the perfect Tacoma to reflect your unique personality and driving habits. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Tacomas from your local Toyota dealer today. Joining us now here on GCR, this man, someone who is synonymous with baseball at the University of Maryland. He was a player. He has been a part of the program for a very long time, and now as of officially, after a press conference yesterday, he is the new head coach of the University of Maryland baseball program. We welcome back to the program Coach Matt Swope, who is with us now here on GCR. Coach, it's Glenn. Drew Forrester's in here with me this morning. Thank you for taking the time. It's great to catch up. Congratulations, man.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys having me on.
What does this mean to you, Coach? I mean,
you get a better parking spot? I mean, that would be the first question I got to ask right away, Coach.
A parking spot. I'm just trying to get into. You should see over there by VPH all the people we got over there. So I'm just trying to make it in the lot for right now.
You'll settle for that.
I'm with when Tillman's there and Sasho and all these guys. These guys are legends. You're trying to fit in around that land.
Right. Glenn used to park their cars for them.
Correct.
In the old days.
Right, as necessary. Coach, I know you talked about it yesterday, but what this means to you as someone who's cared so deeply about this program from, even a time where there wasn't maybe the success that this program has found in recent years to now be the head coach of Maryland baseball. Can you put it into words?
Yeah, it's a dream come true. So, I know it's a cliche, but it is. Most people don't know I didn't come back into college coaching until I was 32. I played pro baseball, then went out in the real world for a little while. So when I made that decision to kind of go all in on that, and it was a huge sacrifice financially then, this was the goal. So, not only from that point being the goal, but obviously growing up a lifelong fan. My parents went to Maryland. They got married at the chapel at Maryland. My dad was in Sigma Chi at Maryland. So everything, I went to high school Damatha on Route 1. So everything that I've ever done has been synonymous with Route 1 and College Park and interwoven into kind of how I grew up. So it truly is a dream come true. I felt like I've lived it my whole life, and it's just really gratifying to get to this point right now.
How do you best describe, Coach, from when you were a player and, let's be very frank, right? The program was nearly non-existent in moments then, right? To now, what's happened? How do you describe how things have turned and why the program has been able to sustain through now what will be a 4th head coach in this era?
Well, I think back then it's just, when I was there as a player, we had 4 scholarships. We didn't have the resources. We were busing to Florida State. We were staying at the Carolina Duke Motor Inn, like I said yesterday. And, some of that's kind of part of the times and budgets and things that have changed, right? So when we hosted that regional last year, I was in tears to see more stands added and the fans there. I can't even put into words the difference between then and now. And even Maryland fans or people from the area maybe not quite understand that. So we've come a long way. 6 regionals in 11 years is impressive, and back-to-back Big Ten championships is really special. I don't know if it's necessarily fully anything else other than players and relationships. It's always going to start with the players and end with that and the relationships you build with them. I do think what's been important, even though we've had a change from Bakich to Chef to Rob to now, is that continuity of 11 years of Rob and I staying together. So we've always had at least 3 staff members stay. So even though, fans may get frustrated at losing head coaches, we've had some sustainability with the staff. And I think that's also really important in any sport, whether it be, college or professional, that you're having that continuity with the staff for so long.
Coach, anything about, obviously you've been the assistant there and now you got the head job. Is there anything, I don't want to call it a concern, but do you see your managerial or even your baseball personality needing to change at all because of the difference in the roles?
No, Rob and I have always done such a good job in agreement with most things, and he's done a good job along with Coach F of empowering his staff, and that's what you have to do at this level. So, no, listen, you're always going to take what the good things from other coaches and their strengths and how they can help your game per se. But each coach, I think, has to be authentic and be themselves, and that's the key to success. So I'm going to try to put my stamp on it the best I can by just being me, maybe not trying to do wholesale changes, but by staying true to who I am and take the things that we've been successful over the last 11 years and just build on that.
He is New Maryland baseball coach Matt Swope. He's with us here on GCR. Coach, you and I have talked about every time I talk to a player from this area, they're always going out of their way to put you over for the last few years. And I always wondered in circles and people that care about Maryland baseball if that would lead to, opportunities at the major league level and for programs. Would you tell us, have you had those chances to maybe move on from Maryland the last couple of years and take other opportunities? And if you did, why was this the path you wanted to stay on?
Oh, yeah. That's been many conversations over the years from Major League Baseball teams, and I have a lot of really, really strong relationships at the Major League Baseball level, from hitting coaches to some executives and whatever. But anybody that knows me, it's not about money. It's not about the stature of the position. I'm sitting outside right now in Annapolis where I live, and this is home to me. And honestly, if Rob had stayed, I probably would have just stayed as long as he stayed. So the job opportunities have never been the goal. This is home to me. This is kind of who I am. This has always been really important to me to stay here. So, I've had a ton of those conversations, but some of that stuff was, I'm able to started another company with Motor Preferences, which the science that, we integrate with our hitters, and that's really helped create the niche from a recruiting standpoint. So I'm able to consult with a lot of major league teams and players specifically, which gives me some passion and allows me to kind of integrate that into Maryland and bring it all together to create that niche for these players and their recruits.
So what's the next step, Coach? We talk about the success this program has found. What does it take to go from doing cool things, hosting a regional, winning a Big Ten tournament, winning lots of games, to what we all know is the thing that still exists that's never happened, which is Omaha, right? What does it require under your leadership for this program to be able to take that next step?
Well, I think we're doing a good job with that stuff. We're getting ready to break ground on a brand new indoor that's going to go behind left field. So it's always going to start with resources to make your players better. We don't need a $30 million stadium, but if players feel like
it wouldn't hurt if somebody had $30 million lying around. I imagine you'd probably be willing to accept it.
I would be willing to accept that, absolutely. So I think it starts with something like that with the indoor, and just to show the commitment to baseball, which the administration is doing that this year. And like you said, it's no secret that the last 11 years we have big leaguers that are playing right now, and maybe some other schools had those big leaguers that are older that are giving back, like a UVA, for instance, when you see they were on a similar trajectory that we were a little bit earlier. When I played at Maryland, UVA was worse than Maryland. So I've been there. I've seen where that growth has come and multiple renovations, but that just doesn't come from administration. That comes from former players and donors and all that. So, having that pipeline in the last 11 years, you're hoping that, that starts it, right? And you can build that momentum, and maybe you do get that donation along with some of the stuff administration is going to do. And I think when all that stuff kind of comes together, you can do some special things. I mean, listen, I've been one game away from Omaha. We've won multiple regionals, so there's a lot that goes into that. But I think just the continued growth and showing, players and recruits and fans and all that will definitely help.
Obviously, there's a chance that Matt Shaw might be making more money than any of those guys at this point, seeing where it looks like he's going to go. Coach, I'll go back to what we were talking about before. I think there are people that would say, well, why would it be different this time? Why wouldn't, Matt just be here for a few years, and then when the next, really good job becomes available, he just goes and takes that? And I'm not trying to put words in your mouth or make you make a promise or something like that, because I think everybody understands, like, Alabama's an amazing opportunity. Why wouldn't Rob Vaughn take that? But would there be reason to believe, given what you've told us, that wouldn't be a priority for you to down the road find a bigger or better job to take?
Well, anybody that knows me, I mean, the guys in the Major League Baseball organizations, I don't even take the calls. So, I mean, this is a destination job for me. I said in my press conference yesterday, and I truly believe this has never been a job for me. This is a lifestyle. My best friend is Steve Suter. I've done a radio show in Baltimore with him before, and Todd White and Scott McBrien and guys like that. Like, I'm at the football games on Saturdays. I'm at the basketball games. I grew up on Joe Smith and Johnny Rhodes and Dwayne Simpkins and DeMatha Catholic High School basketball. Like, this is a part of who I am. So it's not just about baseball. It's not just about that. This has always been a lifestyle to me. So I can't ever say, to tell you the future, but just based off me having the opportunity to leave with which much easier in the past 3 to 4 years. Obviously, them naming me the head coach and this being my dream, I'm not even entertaining or that even thoughts of things like that.
Max Casas has gotten off to a pretty good start in the Orioles system. Like, I think that a lot of people said, hey, this is a neat story, but he's an undrafted kid. Are you starting to buy into the idea that, like, he might end up really proving to be something so much more significant than that and have a real chance to make his way through this system at some point?
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see local guys, right? I talked a lot about my press conference yesterday. We need to do better with the black player, in urban areas, and especially me being from PG County, it's really important to me. I grew up with Ken Griffey Jr. and Ricky Henderson and Frank Thomas being my favorite players. So to see that come to fruition with knowing his story and the struggles that he went through growing up in Baltimore, along with Marty, is extra special to me. Have always had a really good relationship. From a baseball part, I think it's just once you're in there, the minor league system, can chew you up and spit you out. Yeah. So it's a matter of mentality. It's a matter of grind it out. And I think he's always, based off how he's brought up and the things he kind of went through here, he's equipped to do that. And then hopefully just the maturation from a baseball perspective, aligning with those things, will give him an honest chance, because him and his brother are certainly super talented and great people. So I'm obviously hoping for the best. And, being a diehard Orioles fan, we haven't talked about that, but that's something. That's my childhood team and my favorite team growing up, so that would be even better.
We love that. All right, Drew and I were joking earlier. Whenever Buck Showalter would take a job, he would come in and immediately there'd be something. He would say, we got to
move the clocks.
The benches can't be there. Is there anything like that about you that now that you're in charge, you find yourself saying, well, there's something we got to
have some Snickers bars in
right,
the
we got to put the
dugout.
Scoreboard up somewhere, like anything like that you say, now that it's I know I'm going to have to do this.
There's nothing I'm going to move, or I don't know. Probably not. Even to where I sit on the bus, I don't necessarily want to move. So
wait, is that hang on though. Is that a superstition thing though? Because there's nobody in the world more superstitious than baseball players.
Oh gosh, I wish I wasn't. I definitely am superstitious.
All
I
right.
put my socks on the same way. I put my shoes on the same way.
Yeah.
All that stuff. I don't know if there's anything that would change. No, I'm more of a creature of habit. I've actually tried over the past 2 years not to be as superstitious, but I still am. I can't help it.
Baseball.
But no, just maybe some things to add. Just you're always looking for improvements, in little things on the field. But there isn't anything, high maintenance wise that I would change, or maybe quirks and all that. I'll probably still try to stick to the same things I did and and try to work that way into just whatever of the extra roles I have.
There's no, like, if you lose a game, do you ask somebody to switch seats on the bus though? Like, you're not that crazy, are you?
No, I'm not crazy.
All right.
Not on the bus. I never do it on the bus, but I'll stand in different places in the dugout.
I'll
pick up trash.
I'll
pick up more trash. When we need a rally, I'll tell the players, like, hurry up, and Papio and I would tell them, hurry up, pick up some trash, find some trash for some good karma. No, we definitely will do that in the dugout. I'll throw the bat. Sometimes we'll take the bats out of the rack and throw them all out in the dugout to wake them up.
I love it.
We've done that before. So, yeah, we'll do anything during the game
awesome.
to have some success. So, yeah, for sure.
I grew up in Glen Burnie, and our way we used to handle it if we were losing, we'd go take the other team's bats from them. We'd have some kid.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah, right. We'd have a kid from school go over there and take all Old Mill's bats.
What are you
going
to do? You don't have any bats.
Right.
Whatever it takes.
At Matt Swope 19 on Twitter is how you follow him. Coach, I know how much this means to everybody in the Maryland baseball community. So excited for you. So happy for you taking over the program. Congratulations.
Hit them where they ain't.
Looking forward to seeing you out there and talking to you more. All right.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Matt Swope, new University of Maryland baseball coach, taking over the program.
He
this
better
week.
win.
I mean, they've done a pretty good job of winning.
He better win quick. I'm tired of having our baseball team not make it to the College World Series. So,
who are you? Who are you? Where did you come from?
I need our Terp baseball team.
Our Terps. Our Terps.
Went to more games than you last year.
That's a fact. It's a unquestionable fact. I don't think I've been to a game since the – no, that's not true.
Went to more games than you.
We went to a game the previous year.
Went to more games than you. High-five the turtle more times than you did.
I was more of a Turgeon guy myself.
High-five the turtle way more than you did last year.
Definitely true. There's no doubt about that. All right, what's going on in your world?
That's it. I got to go follow golf.
Are you doing –
get a new van?
Is the show actually on, like, live on Sunday?
Yeah, 12-1.
I never know with you. The PGA Championship, you wanted to go on at like 3 or whatever.
I wanted to do that this weekend, and then I realized even if we went on at 3 to 5,
because they're doing prime time, right? Yeah,
so we'll let you guys do your thing.
We're doing a special Father's Day show.
Oh, nice.
We're having a bunch of local sports dads are going to pop up. Like Kyle Hamilton's dad's going to come on with us, and Zay Flowers' dad. All those guys are going to pop on. I'm looking forward to that.
When's he getting hurt?
Which one?
Zay Flowers?
Probably next week.
I mean, Bateman's out already for the year.
Don't do this. Don't put that on us.
This has got to be the end of the run for Bateman. They haven't even played, and he got a cortisone shot.
I understand. All right. Anything else from you?
Nope.
12
Done
to 1.
Enough damage.
12-1 Sunday. Yep. Fairways and Greens, 105.7 The Fan.
Scotty Scheffler.
DrewsMorningDish.com. Oh, and you're hosting a thing. You got an event tonight, right?
Oh yeah, junior golf clinic at Pine Ridge.
It's a good thing that I'm on top of this.
6 o'clock. Come on out. In fact, speaking of the University of Maryland, Will Corris from University of Maryland golf team is our special guest.
He just started following me on Twitter the other day.
He's a good man. He's going to be our
doesn't
special.
His brother play?
They both play.
Yeah.
So will be out at Pine Ridge tonight, 6 o'clock. If you've got a junior golfer, boy or girl, junior golfer, tell them to bring their clubs. Come on out. We'll be there from 6 to 7:30. Free golf instruction. Don't tell the people at Classic 5, but we bring some drinks out for the kids.
Wait,
and
what?
Well, I mean Gatorade, not cocktails. Lord,
I was very confused about it. I was intrigued. Don't get me wrong.
Right. So yeah, come on out. Anybody listening? The 6 of you, if you have kids, come on out.
6 on a good day.
Yeah, right. All right. Scotty Scheffler.
Good to see you. It's a Hooded 4-Iron on Twitter. That's Drew Forrester. DrewsMorningDish.com and Fairways and Greens this Sunday at noon on 105.7 The Fan. We're going to have a lot of commercial breaks to make up. I don't know how we're going to do all of that, but we will deal with it when we need to deal with it. As we switch gears this morning here on GCR, joining us now, he's been off to a great start this season as we make our weekly trip down to the Bowie Baysox to chat with Justin Armbruester, who is with us on GCR. Justin, it's Glenn. It's great to catch up with you, man. Thank you for taking the time for us.
Hey, Glenn. How's it going this morning?
I'm great, dude. It's good to hear from you. Wait, okay, I got to ask this question because we're just talking to Matt Swope, who's a new Maryland baseball coach, about superstitions. When you're off to a hot start and you haven't gotten the call to do the GCR interview yet this season, did you maybe second guess when you were asked about doing it and say, maybe I stay away from those guys because things are going too good right now?
No, I knew it would come eventually. But, I mean, I am a superstitious person for sure, and I have a few routines that I like to do. But, no, I knew I'd get my opportunity to talk to you guys here sometimes.
Have you taken on any new ones this year with things going as well as they've gone?
No, I've really just been trying to stick to my routine. I had a coach tell me if you go out and do your routine every day and work hard at it, and the start goes good or bad, as long as you did your routine, you feel good about your work, it's a good day at the office.
All right. I like that. I like that a lot. Let's talk about the success you found, because when you got up to Double-A last year, things were going well. And what's interesting is, like, the whip really stood out a year ago. Like, you were not putting a lot of runners on base, just maybe getting some bad luck. Is it maybe fair to say that, like, maybe things haven't dramatically changed this season, but you're just maybe getting better fortune, better luck, whatever it is? Or do you really feel like you've genuinely stepped up and pitched better as you're pitching to a 2.47 ERA, which I hear will play?
Yeah, I would say it plays. But, yeah, no, I think it's a little bit of a mixture of both. I think not only did my stuff get better over the off-season, I had the opportunity to work on TrackMan pretty much the entire off-season in the facility up in Washington, where I'm from. But then also, too, like, me and Forrester have been emphasizing, let's just force weak contact and attack the zone. And that's really helped my numbers play up, too, just by forcing guys to have weak contact by pounding the zone early in counts.
When did it take, like, when that is the strategy, does it take some, okay, I got to go out and do it and live with the fact that one of them might fly the other way? Like, does it take – I think about, was it the scene in The Mighty Ducks where they tape Goldberg to the goal and they say, dude, you're going to have to take shots off all parts of your body to understand that's the way this game works. Does it take any of that when you say, hey, I need to adjust to pounding to the zone? That might lead to a ball going the wrong way 500 feet at some point.
Yeah, I mean, one of the Orioles' hot pitchers right now, Kyle Bradish, showed me when he was down here on a rehab start that the hitters get paid as much as we do when we're at this level to hit home runs.
Yeah.
So sometimes you throw a great pitch and they hit a home run, but if you executed the pitch you wanted to and threw it, let's say you're trying to go up and in on a lefty, you got it up and in on a lefty, but he still hit it out of the park. Sometimes it happens, and they're paid as much as we are to hit home runs. So sometimes you just got to tip your cap.
Life goes on, right? Like, there's another batter that's going to come up after that, and you got opportunity to continue doing things. Justin, do you feel like there's been anything else that's changed? Like, is there any, like, besides mentality, just repetition, having been now at the level for a little while and faced this caliber of hitter, is there anything else that jumps out at you that you would say this has played a role in the success that I'm finding?
I would just say that my mentality is to go in and get one day better. Every day I go into the facility, I'm trying to learn something new and try to, like, critique my game to the finest. I heard you talking a little bit before I got on the radio about golf, and I'm a huge golfer myself, and that plays into how I pitch. So I'm just trying to critique my game to the finest point, and it's going to lead to more success here at the Double-A level.
He is Justin Armbruester, the Bowie Baysox. He's with us here on GCR. Do you ever, like, find yourself saying, hey, you guys are noticing this, right? Like, nobody's name's not popping up on these top 100 prospects lists. Do you ever find yourself saying, like, hey, you guys recognize what I'm doing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'll set myself that here every once in a while. But, again, I talk to the big leaguers when they come down, and all they keep telling me is, hey, just control what you can control. Don't worry about the other stuff. Go out there and have fun when they give you the rock, and it'll all fall into place one day.
I mean, I know that's true. But if I was pitching like you were, I would be trying to yell about it. Like, hello, this is the guy that you're looking for. I'm right here. Justin, the mentality throughout the system, right? Like, the way that things have changed these last couple of years since you arrived. Can you kind of explain that and the excitement, the energy that maybe that you have felt as this thing has gone along, knowing what's going on from top to bottom in the Orioles system?
Yeah, for sure. When I got into the system in 2021, the first motto I saw on a T-shirt was "Rising tides raise all ships," and it's nothing truer than what it says on the T-shirt. Like, everybody pushes each other. It's so much fun to be in this organization. Guys are pushing each other every day. Pitchers are asking hitters questions. Hitters are asking pitchers questions about how can they get better. And the same is on the flip side. Like, we'll ask the hitting coach, hey, what do you see how I'm attacking guys? Or the hitters will ask, hey, how would you attack me? So it's really cool to see everybody working together and trying to push all towards the same goal to get the Orioles back to the playoffs.
All right, so let's get into the golf thing. Are you the best golfer on the team?
Sadly, I'm not.
Oh.
I would say I'm second, but the best golfer on the team is Jensen Elliott.
Really? All right.
PGA pro.
Oh.
His dad's a PGA pro. He played ever since he was a little kid. So
Yeah.
I haven't beat him yet, but we've tied once.
Okay, that's an accomplishment. We were talking to McKenna last week, and when Aaron Hicks showed up, like I think people that don't know, Aaron Hicks is with like Tiger Woods' niece, is I think his wife or his and so all of a sudden, like there's some real significant stiff competition that shows up the moment that Aaron Hicks came on the team, and it kind of changed everything for them. Who's the mark though? Who's the guy that thinks they're good? But you know if you're going to go out there on a Monday, you're going to be able to take money off of them because they're not nearly as good as they think they are.
I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus, but there's definitely a few guys that I can work money off of.
All right. It's probably the correct political answer, but I'm a little bit disappointed that I couldn't get it out of you so that we could have some fun with it. Hey, a guy behind you that I wanted to ask you about because, you know, we don't speak the same language, so I haven't had the opportunity to chat with him. Prieto and what he's doing, can you put into words, because I feel like, again, he's a guy that's like yourself, kind of flying under the radar still a little bit, despite the fact that everything we're seeing is nuts. What is it that you've seen from that dude, and how real, how legitimate? I know he's not the biggest cat in the world, like he's never going to be a 30-home run hitter or anything like that, but my God, it seems like he can do just basically everything else.
He pretty much can do basically everything else. I mean, watching that kid play, it's so much fun. He comes to the ballpark and just has fun every day. He plays loose. He jokes in the locker room. He goes out there. He has fun. Yeah, he may get mad when he gets out, but he pushes himself to that standard. I mean, the kid lines out at 105 miles an hour to left field, and he still gets mad at himself.
Wow.
But then he goes out there and goes 18 for 21 or whatever it was when we were in Erie and can't get out. So the kid's unbelievable. He's so much fun to play with. I mean, he's throwing the cutters back from third base all night last night, trying to work on his pitches. Like, kids out there just having fun.
Wow.
People were talking shit, excuse my language, talking shit during the road trip during Erie. And he goes out there and hits a line drive off the wall and gives the man the old peace sign. As
that's awesome.
To shortstop the next inning. So, I mean, the kid's just really fun to play with, and he's the truth. So I'm excited for him as much as I am myself to watch his career blossom.
Oh, that's so great. I love that so much. Okay, all right, now I got to go a different direction with this. Who's the best shit talker on the team? Who's the best shit talker in the system? Who's the guy that's the most fun to yak in the dugout during the course of a game?
Well, sadly, he just got promoted to Norfolk, and he was right next to me in the locker room, and that would be Hudson Kerstad.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
Hudson
man.
Kerstad knows how to pick your brain and push your buttons, but then can still be your best friend at the end of the day. So
Wow.
best shit talker goes to Hudson Kerstad.
That's so funny because he comes off to me so cerebral when we talk to him, right? Like he comes off like, but maybe that's what it is, right? Like he's so cerebral that he knows exactly how to push someone's buttons in that moment. That's incredible. I love that. Is there a team or an organization that does the most shit talking from the other side? Like, is there a team that when you go up against them, you're like, oh, we're gonna have this is gonna be an interesting week?
Well, I know Harrisburg doesn't like us. Erie doesn't like us. But I don't think there's really one team quite yet that I've singled out. But those are the two that when I pitch against them, they definitely don't like.
All right. By the way, this week, starting again, including tonight at 6:30. So a great day to maybe do a double dip. If you're going to the Orioles game, go down to Bowie afterwards as they take on Richmond. They're home throughout the weekend. Fireworks tomorrow night. Special Capitals event. Kids run the bases, plus a DL Hall poster giveaway. Fireworks again on Saturday, and a really fun Father's Day celebration on Sunday, including a pregame catch on the field. Get to Baysox.com in order to get all that information. What else is going on in your world, dude? Like, when you're not, baseball or golf, like, is there anything else you're doing on Mondays? Anything else you're getting into at all?
Nah, I'm a huge golfer. I mean, this week I'm watching the U.S. Open, so
who's gonna win?
I got a lot of stuff to watch. My two picks are John Rahm is my favorite.
Okay,
pick.
I mean,
my sleeper pick is Sahith Theegala.
Ooh, now this is good news for me because you used a sleeper pick, but it's somebody I've actually heard of because the last guy I had on gave me 2 sleepers, and I've never even heard of Eric Cole. I said, I don't know who that is. Who is it, Herbert? I was like, I don't know who that is. I'm willing to, but however, as a bettor, I'm willing to put money on just about anything, so I'll listen. Tell me about why Thigala. Why Thigala?
I just like his ball striking, and I think he's due. I mean, he's been so close in so many majors. I think this is the one that's going to put him over the edge, and the stage is there. But I think the other one that I've been hearing around the locker room that a lot of people like is Max Homa.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's the dude, right? Like, he's just like the most likable guy on the tour, right?
He's so likable, and he's so, like, honest, and he just tells you how it is.
Yeah.
So,
I dig that. I think the real question is, I think I saw that there's a 540-yard par 4 at the U.S. Open. What would you post on a 540-yard U.S. Open hole that's a par 4?
Well, the biggest problem in my game is not hitting the fairway, and the rough is absurd.
Right.
So if I hit the rough, I'm at least making 7.
Yeah.
But if I somehow find the fairway, I have a good chance at 5.
Okay. All right. That would be impressive. I think I saw there's like a 3.
I got a question back for you, Doc.
Okay.
What are you hitting off the tee on the 280-yard par 3?
So I'm hitting driver off of 200 because I am not a professional athlete.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean?
Fair
it's still work for me to get it there. For a normal person, I saw that going on because I didn't know that they have a 280-yard par 3 and then there's like an 80-yard par 3 on the same course, which is
280. There's 280 par 3s, and then there's an 85-yard par 3.
That's so.
If they put the pin front edge and the wind blows downwind, there's no way you can stop it.
Okay, so what are you hitting for a 280-yard par 3?
So I was actually talking to Jensen about this yesterday in the locker room before the game started, and we came to the conclusion that 3-wood is the better play because you have more control over it than the driver. You can get a little bit more spin. But also, if I haven't looked at the holes exactly, if you can bounce it short and roll it on the front, given that you also have to be a professional athlete to hit a 3-wood that
far. Boy.
That's what we came up with. We came up with 3-wood because it's a little bit more consistent than driver.
Look, in the worst case scenario is what? Like that you end up sailing somehow? Like I think you got a pretty good chance.
You bomb a 3-wood and hit it 310. Yeah,
right.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I mean, my God. So what? So you come back and you get back on the green and you're okay at that point. These guys, what do you think these guys are hitting on a 280-yard par 3 though? These guys are hitting
I heard John Rahm tried to pull a 4-iron yesterday in a practice round. He came up short. But then I've also heard a lot of driving irons are getting added to the bag.
That makes sense.
Those 2 holes in particular.
That makes sense.
But the takeaway I've heard so far on the course is the front 9 is where you score, and the back 9 is where it gets tough.
Have you had an ace in your life?
I actually have 2.
No, where?
I have one at my home course, the Plateau Club in Mammoth, Washington. That was with my grandma. And then I have one at the University of New Mexico course. I was playing with one of the girls on the team.
That's cool. That's cool. Okay, did you take care of business afterwards? Did you go in? Did you buy everybody drinks?
I did. The first one I actually was not of age, but the second one I definitely had a few drinks after the round.
Very nice. That's cool that it was with your grandma too, man. That's awesome. Has she always been a golfer?
She has. She's been a golfer since she was little. She's the one that taught me how to golf and got me like addicted to the game.
Oh, how
got
cool
me playing as a little kid. And then I was like, nah, I'm going to try this hitting thing for baseball. And then that ended in high school, and I became a pitcher only. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to start playing golf again. She got me back into it.
Do you feel like if you had pursued golf that you could? I'm not trying to go crazy and say like you'd be playing in the U.S. Open this week. Like, do you feel like you could have made money, made a living as a golfer?
That's tough to say made a living because golf is definitely the hardest sport, and if you want to debate that another time, we can.
Okay, all right.
It's definitely the hardest sport. So I don't know about that, but I definitely think I could have played in college, and then who knows what could have happened from there. It always takes a little luck to get to this level.
All right, let's listen to this, and I'm going to let you go. The hardest sport argument, because I feel like the argument would be it is also the sport where you don't necessarily have to have been blessed with the most incredible physical gifts. Like, you can do the work to make up for it if, you can't become a basketball player at a high level unless you were, like, what Steph Curry's doing is amazing and all, but he is still taller than the average human being is, even though he's not, 6'8". Like, is golf the sport that you can most make up for whatever gifts you weren't blessed with, like, at birth?
I'm going to start with 2% of golfers break 80.
That is insane. That is a good point. Like, that's...
And these guys are out here playing. I think the slope rating on LA Country Club is like 148. And the course rating's like 75 point something. Which means scratch golfer is shooting 3 over par on average.
All right.
So my argument is that golf is the hardest sport because you have to be okay with not ever coming close to par.
Right. You're going to be miserable.
The average golfer is never going to shoot par.
That's a good point. But is there a parallel to baseball where, like, hitters, the greatest hitters of all time failed more consistently than they succeeded?
I mean, you hit 300, you're a Hall of Famer.
Correct. And you got in 7 out of 10 at bats, you were out. Like,
yeah.
I feel like there's a parallel there where you almost have to be able to make peace with. Maybe it goes back to what we started the conversation with. You've got to be capable of making peace with failure at times. Like, it's funny because Jackson Holiday was telling me about that the other day. He's like, yeah, I think I've learned is making peace with failure. And I'm like, dude, when do you fail? Like,
yeah, when does that kid fail?
Right.
Everybody that I've talked to in Aberdeen just tells me that kid should be in Bowie ASAP.
Right.
But
like,
I got to meet him in spring training. He's a super nice kid, and I can't wait to hopefully get him playing behind me someday.
That's cool, man. I love that. Justin, Twitter, Instagram, where can people follow you?
On Instagram, I'm at J_Armbruester, and on Twitter, I'm at just J_Armbruester.
Dude, as always, I don't know what else there is to say other than just keep kicking ass. It's been awesome to see the success that you have had this season. This was a lot of fun, bro. Thank you for doing this morning.
I appreciate it, and hopefully we can talk soon. And for now, go Baysox.
Love it, man. Thank you, dude. Justin Armbruester, who's, again, just having an outstanding season, which, I feel like when we talk about the, when somebody says, hey, the arms maybe aren't there within the system, I feel like there's a strong argument being made by Justin Armbruester that he is becoming that guy. 12 starts, 62 innings, 1.15 whip, 2.47 ERA. Those numbers will play. Those numbers work eternally. We've got to take a lot of commercial breaks. It's what it is, just the way the day has gone. PressBoxOnline.com/offers has all of the best sign-up offers and bonuses, including $150 in bonus bets from DraftKings after you place your first $5 bet. Get that and other great sportsbook offers right now. PressBoxOnline.com/offers. Fighting words. Next, Glenn Clark Radio.
Yeah.
That's not great.
Yes.
Not great.
You want to throw to it again?
It's Glenn Clark Radio.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, Dave Ginsburg remembers Goose as he looks back on the impact that late Tony Saragusa had both on and off the field here in Baltimore. Plus, he explains how Goose's kids are working to continue that legacy with the Goose Flights program. Also inside, Todd Karpovich profiles the path Tyler Wells has taken to becoming a star in the Orioles rotation. And you'll find a special summer travel guide with information about events and activities throughout the state. Press Box is available for free at over 500 area locations, including 60 Royal Farm stores. And you can always find the entire edition, as well as the best daily coverage of the O's, Ravens, and Terps at PressBoxOnline.com.
The All-America Senior Game powered by New Balance will be back at Johns Hopkins Homewood Field on July 29th. The most decorated girls and boys lacrosse players in the country have been invited to play in what is the premier lacrosse event of the year. Every college coach wants their players in this game, and if you dream of being in this game, you start by trying out for one of your regional underclass teams this summer. The best against the best. Get your tickets now at allamericalacrosse.com.
Costas Inn has been serving up delicious steamed crabs for over 50 years. Lately, the crabs you want to eat when the weather warms up have gotten harder and harder to get. So get your crab eating game plan in place. Make sure to stick this number on your fridge, 410-477-1975. Call ahead and reserve the size crabs you want. You may be able to walk in, but you may also be disappointed at the size or maybe even get shut out altogether. So call ahead, have a plan, and then arrive on your crab eating vacation. Costas also has delicious crab soup and crab cakes. The Costas Inn at 4100 North Point Boulevard. For more than 50 years, they've been satisfying crab lovers in and around Baltimore.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Check out PressBoxOnline.com every day to find daily winners and betting advice from Jeremy Kahn. And if you want some advice about life decisions that you probably shouldn't make, here's Glenn Clark.
All right, back in here on GCR as we continue along on a Thursday edition of the program. Thanks to Justin Armbruester, new Maryland baseball coach Matt Swope, and yes, even to Drew for hanging out with us this morning. All right, so you say you've got a new open for this? You say this is on the up and up?
Yeah.
We'll see how I feel about it. Let's hear it. Oh, boy, this is...
It's Fighting Words with Griffin Bass.
The music works. Is it the same bit that you did the last time where, like, they're just going to randomly hear bells and that's when you're supposed to move on?
That was the signal to start.
Oh. I like the bell. I feel like the bell should come right after. The voice.
Okay.
Who did the voice?
Somebody at 1057. You want to guess who it was?
I'd have to hear it again.
You want to play? You want to restart?
Yeah, let me hear it.
Right.
Let me hear it one more time to see if I can figure out who it is. Yeah. Yeah, I need some volume on that. Yeah.
It's Fighting Words with Griffin Bass.
Obviously, I pitched it.
Yeah, it's distorted
down
enough that I can't. Yeah, who was it?
It was Caleb.
Oh, it was Caleb?
Yeah, Caleb
It doesn't
Rada.
sound at all like Caleb.
Yeah.
It's Caleb. I believe it's Rada.
Well, anyone I met that with the last name Rada, I always say Rada because Rada's more fun.
What? How many people do you know with that last name?
I went to a kid
all right, enough.
Named Rada.
I feel like it could be dressed up a little bit. I feel like it could have some sounds.
So I had like the highlights before.
Not highlights.
Okay.
I'm saying like sound effects, like punches, like things like that. Not highlights, but just sounds. I feel like would be good to dress that up. We're on the right track. All right. I just feel like we can always strive to be better, and this is learning. Right. This is learning. Like I made your attempt at doing, the commercial yesterday. I made it work.
Yeah.
There's still a lot to be learned. You're a young man. It's very early on in your career. I'm still learning. Sometimes I've given up. I've given up hope on learning at times. Sometimes we walk into meetings and I'm just like, guys, it's never going to be me. Never going to be me. Just the way it's going to go. But we're all still learning. It's okay. I feel like this could still be dressed up and made even better. But what you got for this week?
So first things first, this is the biggest event of the weekend. Bellator 297 is Saturday night.
This weekend? I feel like there's more important things from last weekend.
Oh, yeah. So we'll recap first. I guess that makes sense.
Because normally the way that would work is...
All right. We'll recap last weekend. We'll start with UFC 289. Obviously, Amanda Nunes, she solidified herself as the
Please to be understand that Griffin eternally, no matter what's going on, he cares more about UFC than he does about boxing.
I do, yeah.
So, like, the story that's the story this week.
We had 2 retirements, yes, across the fighting world.
These are the stories this week.
This one seems more legit of a retirement, though, for me. So I feel like the boxing will kind of lead to more
for God's
when
sake.
Teofimo.
It's still the story.
Okay. Well, there's 2. Well, I had to start somewhere.
All right, fine. Just go.
She solidified herself as the women's MMA GOAT, I would say. She's beaten everyone. So she took down Irina Aldana in a unanimous decision on Saturday night, and then announced her retirement after. Laid both the belts on the. She was a double champ, so she laid both their belts and the gloves in the middle of the octagon, and pretty outstanding career. So good for Amanda Nunes. Also, right before that, Charles Oliveira knocked out Beneil Dariush in the very first round. That sets him up to get another shot at the title against Islam Makhachev.
So, it's unfortunate for Amanda Nunes because I think if you're a hardcore fan, you appreciate Amanda Nunes, but she never had any crossover appeal. Like she never became.
Like she wasn't the most marketable, like Ronda Rousey, obviously.
Well, I mean, it's not just Ronda Rousey, who was it, Gina Carano, like somebody like that. She was a much better fighter, but just never. Even Holly Holm had more crossover appeal because of her time as a boxer, because she was the one that beat Ronda, all of those things. Amanda Nunes just never really crossed over to be a sports star beyond being a mixed martial artist. And wasn't, undefeated, there was nothing in particular other than
she was just unbelievably dominant.
Yeah, she was
beat
a really
anyone that could be in the conversation.
And of course, including Holly Holm and including when she beat Cyborg, I think everybody knew at that point that like it wasn't really
snap.
Yeah, but that was significant.
Right.
And that's didn't she beat Shevchenko at one point too?
Yeah, she did. Yes, she did. She beat Shevchenko, and that's kind of like now maybe it opens up Shevchenko coming up to 135, the fight at bantamweight. Maybe she can be a double champ now, just now that she isn't being scared off by Amanda Nunes.
Like this is the funny part, right? Like okay, hang on, I'm pulling up Amanda Nunes'
her fighting record.
Right, I'm pulling that up right now. It's so funny. She beat Misha Tate.
Yeah, I mean she
beat Ron. Yeah, she beat everybody. Right, she beat everybody of this era. I forgot that she fought Shayna Baszler. I forgot that was a thing. Shayna Baszler, of course, is now tag team champions in the WWE with Ronda Rousey. They are currently tag team champions.
Saw that one coming.
Well, I mean, at some point you were going to go that route. It's a shame. It's a shame that she never had
the marketability. Really,
correct. It's a shame for obviously it was a shame for the UFC. Although again, Dana White's creep, so I don't feel bad for him. But it's a shame for her that she never was really able to cross over. Now she might say, I don't care about that. I just want to be a fighter. But it's just a shame that she never, given her dominance, given, her body count, if you will, like that she just never was able to break through in the way that, like, legitimately she was main eventing a pay-per-view, and last week, even you, when you care about the UFC, you were like,
I was like, I'm obviously going to watch.
I mean, like that's the bummer about it, is that it just never really created that breakthrough.
Charles knocked out Beneil Dariush. Good first round, but he showed that he is definitely deserving of the next title shot, even though he just lost to Islam Makhachev. He should and will get the next shot against Islam. Islam also earlier this week said that he wants to be a double champ, and he's floating around the idea of going up to 170 to fight Leon Edwards, and he said I can beat Leon Edwards, is what Islam said. So we'll see. After he arguably, he beat Alexander Volkanovski and when Volkanovski came up to 155 to fight Islam, he beat him, but also at the end of the round, if that had been a 6-round fight, Volkanovski looked like he was the fresher fighter. Surprisingly.
Well, they don't do those. Though,
unfortunately,
so it doesn't really matter.
In the rules of the sport, Islam did win, and he
keeps saying in the rules of the sport. That's the way. And I mean this. There were a lot of people that don't like Donald Trump, that are like, well, he didn't win the popular vote. And I understand that should matter. Trust me, it's absolutely badass insane that we have a system in this country where we're going to let something else decide who the president gets to be. But it doesn't matter because there is no such thing as a popular vote for president. When you're planning your campaign, you say, we need to go win these states, and so you prioritize that within the campaign. So, to say, well, if it been a 6-round fight, not a thing. Almost certainly will never be a thing.
And that's why Islam is the champ right now. And Charles will have to challenge him whenever that may be, hopefully soon.
All right.
We'll stay on last week. So Teofimo Lopez, he had a UD over Josh Taylor, and then he decided to announce his retirement, which...
This is not the first time that this has happened with Teofimo Lopez. I have no idea what to make of it. None. No clue. And I guess here's what I guess. It's a pause. I don't think it's a multi-year pause, but I don't think it could be a 2-week pause. I don't think that in 2 weeks he turns around and says, now here's my next fight. I think he takes the summer off, something like that, and then maybe starts thinking about whatever he might do next.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's, I guess, somewhat of a marketing ploy, I guess, to build up. It's Teofimo comes out of retirement to fight with Devin Haney, or Tank or whoever,
Yep.
whatever they decide to go from there. Also, last week obviously,
And he did.
Floyd,
I think I saw that he tried to call out Gervonta Davis recently
because he said I wrote it down. What did he say? Oh, he said Tank doesn't want to fight him. Is what he said.
So
or Tank doesn't want to fight. Period. Something like that.
it sounds like he's doing because I thought he like I'm gonna find. I thought he specifically called out that like the Tank with the rehydration clauses is like cheating or something like that.
Also last week, Floyd Mayweather, John Gotti had a brawl.
I have. Oh wow, hang on a second. Hang on.
Oh, you got the full quote from Tank.
If I sign another contract, let's say I sign the quote. If I sign another contract, let's say I sign a contract with Tank, and we face each other, they'll find a way to postpone the fight and keep postponing the fight and then having me wait my time. If I pull out, what is everyone going to say? Teofimo pulled out. He's scared. That's a pussy move.
And he's honestly not
said
wrong.
That's a pussy move, said Teofimo when asked about Gervonta Davis's rehydration clauses and catch weights. Quote, Gervonta, you're a pussy. You're a bitch. I don't care what anyone says.
He's coming back. Teofimo will be back.
So what if... that's. I don't think that's a quote. I think that's
their
I think
analysis.
it's whoever this is.
I mean, yeah, so he's coming back then. It sounds like he's definitely.
I mean, he's definitely laying the foundation
whether
for
it's probably 2 years down the road, maybe
whatever it is.
But
yes,
yeah, like
he's definitely laying the
and
foundation
Teofimo
for a big
Lopez.
fight at some point.
Yeah, so I think you're right. Yeah, he'll be back. Yeah, and if you didn't want to pay the $15 for the Zeus Network, you obviously missed a brawl at the end.
I have no interest in talking about it. It's a sham. This is what makes the sport embarrassing.
And I'll quickly get out of the way. Nate Diaz and Jake Paul agreed to make their August 5th boxing match 10 rounds now, up from 8 rounds, to add the legitimacy to that.
It doesn't add legitimacy to it.
The only fight this
There's
weekend.
nothing legitimate about it. It's not legitimate. You attempted to use the word legitimate, and it's like you forgot you were talking about.
Nate Diaz.
There's nothing legitimate about a Nate Diaz Jake Paul fight. That's not a legitimate thing in any way.
All right, well, I just had to get it out there. Probably the last time we mentioned it before, the week of. August 5th is the current date for that bout. Also, Hasim Rahman Jr. Has a fight scheduled.
Rahman Jr.
Yeah.
Rahman.
That's what he said.
No, you said Rahman.
Rahman. He has a fight scheduled for July 22nd now against Alan Belcher, former UFC fighter who has turned to boxing.
Rahman was supposed to fight Jake.
Yes, Jake.
Jake?
Yes,
he was supposed to fight Jake. It didn't happen. There were all sorts of different reasons that were thrown out. Then Jake ended up losing the fight to what's his face? Yeah, correct. God, I can't remember either. Fury's brother.
Yes,
Tommy Fury.
Yes,
he ended up losing to Tommy Fury.
And now, so
God
Rahman
bless.
he's coming off a loss to Greg Hardy, so he's looking to avenge that.
Oh man, that's
and he
I got to be honest. I like Rock, but this is approaching going out sad.
Yeah, it is.
Like it's always difficult because like he was never going to be able to accomplish what his dad accomplished. Even if you separated it, like this is the fun. Like you can say that Hasim Senior's first title was a fluke if you want. Like that's absurd. The man beat Lennox Lewis. Like that's not a fluke. Now it was a stunner. Like there's no question about that. But ridiculous to attempt to say it was a fluke. If what you're saying is in the course of his career he was not as good of a fighter as those guys were, that's fine. But he beat a lot of dudes, and he won a lot of fights that were legitimate fights. There's definitely no question that he was not in the upper echelon, but the upper echelon at the time was some of the greatest heavyweights.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear that because everybody wants to say all the greatest heavyweights were,
60s,
decades
70s.
upon decades ago. But these were really good heavy. I mean, this into the Klitschko's, like this was a really damn good era of heavyweight boxers. Not like today when there's literally 2 heavyweight boxers in the world that are any good. That was a hell of an era of heavyweight boxing. So I have no problem saying, he was closer to the Corey Sanders, Oleg Moskiev, that list of fighters than he was. He certainly was far closer to that than he was, even the guy he beat. But you don't get to take away the fact that he beat that guy. Hasim Rahman had a hell of a career. His sons, and by the way, he'll tell you his youngest son was the best of the fighters. But his sons, that was an unfair. But this is going out sad. I mean, this is.
I mean, he should beat Alan Belcher. He's like a 40-year-old former UFC fighter.
Should have beat Greg Hardy.
Yes, obviously that too as well. Not much going on this weekend in the boxing world. There is a card on DAZN on Saturday night. It's Prograis versus Zorilla for the super lightweight title.
Sure.
140. Yeah.
Sure. And
so that is your boxing news.
And you wanted to say something about the Bellator card?
Yes. Am I supposed
Quickly.
to? Should I bell it?
Whatever. Yeah. Fine.
So Bellator 297. It should be a pretty good one. Yoel Romero is headlining against Vadim Nemkov. Yoel Romero, longtime UFC fighter. Obviously, he did. He missed yesterday's press conference, unfortunately. So they had a virtual. My fault.
Something else going on over there.
So I was using YouTube for. So he missed the press conference yesterday because he has a fear of heights. And so the fight is in Chicago. They did the press conference on the 99th floor of the Willis Tower yesterday. So he
a little over the top.
Yeah. So they had a virtual face-off, which looked really, really bad. Either way, it still should be a fun fight because Nemkov he's 30 years old. He's the current lightweight or light heavy champ at Bellator, and Yoel just never gets finished. And he has already 2 knockouts in his 2 Bellator fights, so it should be good. And then the co-main is going to be Pitbull versus Sergio Pettis, trying to take Sergio Pettis' belt. If Pitbull wins, he'll be the first Bellator fighter to ever have 3 belts in 3 different weight classes.
Okay, I have no way to have context for that, so I'm not going to attempt to.
It's a lightweight, featherweight, and now bantamweight if he were to defeat Sergio Pettis. So should be entertaining. It's Bellator. It's MMA. I enjoy it. And then finally this weekend, the UFC card is, again, just lackluster named. It's headlined by Jared Cannonier and Marvin Vettori at middleweight. It'll be a really good fight. The problem is there's no stakes to it because Izzy is the middleweight champ and he has wiped out the entire division. He's beat both of these guys.
Yeah.
I think they're doing Whitaker next, who he's already beaten twice anyway, too. So Izzy is just completely flatlined the division. It's not even I think Vettori should win, but it's like whoever wins, it's like okay, you still gotta get in line.
Yeah, I get it.
Get in line twice again. So.
But it could be a good fight.
Yes, it'll be a good fight.
Yeah.
The rest of the card is not a whole lot of notable names. I mean, unless you're a UFC diehard, it should be a good fight. Should be a good card.
Okay.
But just not a whole lot at stake really this weekend.
Very good. It's Fighting Words for this week. Fighting Words brought to you by the Stan the Fan Variety Hour, which returns tonight. Tonight, Stan, Gary Stein, and Craig Thompson, the new chairman of the Maryland Stadium Authority. They'll talk about the future of Camden Yards and all sorts of stuff. That'll be tonight on Facebook Live, 6 o'clock, facebook.com/PressBoxSports, youtube.com/PressBoxOnline, or PressBoxOnline.com/video. If you miss it live, you can watch it tomorrow. So we'll grab a break. We'll come back in. We'll just do Tidbit next and touch on a couple things we weren't able to get to earlier. That's on the way. It's Glenn Clark Radio. We got to lock this up. We got to improve this for sure. This won't work on 105.7 The Fan.
Senior game powered by New Balance will be back at Johns Hopkins Homewood Field on July 29th. The most decorated girls and boys lacrosse players in the country have been invited to play in what is the premier lacrosse event of the year. Every college coach wants their players in this game, and if you dream of being in this game, you start by trying out for one of your regional underclass teams this summer. The best against the best. Get your tickets now at allamericalacrosse.com.
Are you a diehard O's fan looking for the perfect way to show your team spirit? Look no further than Birdland Sports. Birdland Sports is a small business run by fans for fans. They offer a wide variety of unofficial O's merchandise, from the Birds Are Coming tees to player cartoon shirts and more. And the best part? Their prices are more affordable than the big guys. So head to birdlandsports.com and grab your gear today. Show your support for the Birds with Birdland Sports.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, Dave Ginsburg remembers Goose as he looks back on the impact that late Tony Saragusa had both on and off the field here in Baltimore. Plus, he explains how Goose's kids are working to continue that legacy with the Goose Flights program. Also inside, Todd Karpovich profiles the path Tyler Wells has taken to becoming a star in the Orioles rotation. And you'll find a special summer travel guide with information about events and activities throughout the state. Press Box is available for free at over 500 area locations, including 60 Royal Farm stores. And you can always find the entire edition, as well as the best daily coverage of the O's, Ravens, and Terps at PressBoxOnline.com.
That first sip. That first bite. Start your day off right with a delicious breakfast at Royal Farms. Choose from a fantastic selection of fresh Royal Farms breakfast sandwiches and top it off with a rich hot cup of the freshest coffee in the world. At Royal Farms, breakfast is available day and night. It's the freshest breakfast in the world. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
If you miss anything on the show, don't forget that you can watch full episodes at youtube.com/PressBoxOnline, and you can download podcasts on Apple, iTunes, Amazon, and Grindr. Wait, did I say Grindr? I don't think that you would find it on Grindr. Not that I know it's on Grindr or anything, I swear. On second thought, you know what? I don't care what you think. Here's Glenn.
Tidbit is brought to you by your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. The Toyota Tacoma comes in a range of models and trim lines, so you can choose the perfect Tacoma to reflect your unique personality and driving habits. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Tacomas from your local Toyota dealer today.
So Argentina had a friendly earlier today, and with Lionel Messi, they won. They beat Australia 2-0, and Lionel Messi scored the first goal of the game in the second minute. And so now Lionel Messi has scored in each possible minute of regulation except for the first minute.
Well, how about that? In
his soccer career.
I mean, well, now they're going to have to schedule somebody that's a slappy so that he can go out and
just walk across.
Like they gotta find like Antigua or like some very tiny country that exists so that, or
or Inter Miami,
Inter Miami. Sorry, could Inter Miami could schedule like Christos FC or something like that to try to force the issue somehow.
And then, so Messi, and then also, obviously Jose Barrios, he improved his career record against the Orioles, 10-0. Mm-hmm. He became the fourth pitcher, let me rephrase it. He is the third. He's tied for the third most wins without a loss against a single opponent in the last 80 years. So 10-0 or better. He is tied for third. There are two guys with better records. Want to see if we can name these three guys that have
better records against the Orioles?
No, against the team.
Against any individual team?
Yeah.
Well, how much? I'm guessing anybody at that point.
Great pitchers.
Okay, but like
active one that's pitched in the last 20 years.
Verlander.
Not Verlander.
Scherzer.
No.
Kershaw
versus
against
the Mets.
I was gonna guess. I was gonna guess the Rockies.
No, he's 11-0 against the New York Mets.
That's super random.
Yeah.
And then one from a long time ago, you said?
Yes.
Tom Seaver.
No, actually, you know what? Not a long time ago. It was the last 25 years.
25 years. So that would still include like Greg Maddux
not Greg Maddux.
Tom Glavine.
Not Tom
John
Glavine.
Smoltz.
Maybe, I guess. Yeah, I mean, pretty much that same era, though. Slightly after, I guess, those three.
Slightly after those three. Andy Pettit?
No.
Slightly after those three. CC Sabathia.
Slightly before.
Slightly before that. Trying to really hone in on the exact. Randy Johnson.
13-0.
Against the.
Not an NL West team.
Well, it wouldn't be an NL West team. You would assume it'd be an AL West team because the bulk of his career was Seattle, not Arizona.
It's an NL Central team. He's 13-0 against.
The Reds.
No.
The Pirates.
The Cubs, 13-0.
Okay.
Against the Cubs. And then Bill Gullickson.
Didn't he pitch for the Cubs at one point? Do I remember that? No. Who am I confusing him with somebody else? Randy Johnson was the Expos, the Mariners, the Athletics. Not the Athletics, sorry. The Diamondbacks and
I remember him as a Diamondback. That's why I say.
He was the bulk of his career was Seattle. And the Giants, I think, were his other team.
I think that's all of them.
Oh,
Bill Gullickson.
Forgot he was a Yankee. Oh, I totally forgot that he was an Astro. Yeah. Crap. I utterly forgot that he had
So how many teams is that?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Gee.
How did I remember the Giants, but not?
Because he hit the bird with the Giants, right?
I don't remember who he was when he hit the bird. I don't remember. Asking me to remember things happen a long time ago.
Well, I mean, that's just why you remember the Giants, because
Randy Johnson. I don't think it was the last year of his career, the bird thing.
I think it was.
Was
whatever. Bill Gullickson also 10-0 against the Mariners in his career. So those.
He was with the Diamondbacks when he hit the bird.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Okay.
But other than that, you nailed it.
So Barrios joins those three.
Okay.
And then I can give you one more.
Oh,
so there's a stat.
I saw, if you were looking for good news today, I saw that Kikuchi's record against the Orioles is not good.
That's true. I think. You want to find it out for you? Let's
Hang
see.
on a second.
Kikuchi.
Hang on a second. I'm gonna get it. I'll get it before you do. Kikuchi, well, I don't know, but his record: 6.29 ERA and 1.515 WHIP in 9 career games, 6 starts against the Orioles.
Love to see it.
Hope so, including Ryan McKenna, 4 for 10 with 3 doubles all time against. That's courtesy of Masson.
He hasn't gone 5 innings in his last 5 starts against the Orioles.
How about that? Could be a good day.
Yes. There was a Yoan Moncada stat because he sucks with the White Sox now. However, he had that one year where he was insane. He joined a list of 10 players to have a season of 25 home runs, 315 batting average, and 10 or more stolen bases at the age of 25 or younger in American League history. So I want to see if we can
super
name.
random.
Yeah, it is.
What?
Well, it's because this is what White Sox fans are doing to show how bad Moncada is. But it's an unbelievable list of players. I want to see if you can name the other 9.
Right. So the numbers were
25 home runs, 315 batting average, 10 or more stolen bases, and before under the age of 25. Did this in a season that they were under the age of 25.
Bryce Harper.
Bryce Harper not on the list, and they narrowed it down to just American League players.
Manny Machado.
Not Manny.
All time, you say?
Yes, all time. All these guys are MVPs.
All these guys are MVPs. Ken Griffey Jr.
Ken Griffey Jr. is on the list with the Seattle Mariners.
Mike Trout.
Mike Trout is on the list.
All Hall of Famers.
2 more active guys.
Well, they're probably not Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
If I had to guess.
Yes. Yeah, not yet.
Judge?
I guess
No,
not
he didn't
Judge.
really steal
Yeah,
big.
he doesn't.
he
not
does.
Judge. Not Judge though.
A Rosarena?
Not a Rosarena.
Franco?
Not Franco. This guy's currently on the Dodgers. He did it with the Red Sox.
Oh, Mookie Betts.
Mookie Betts, yes. AL Central third baseman.
Jose Ramirez.
Jose Ramirez, yes.
Okay.
All right, so we have 5 more retired ball players. 3 Yankees.
All right, settle down over there. 3 Yankees. They did it with the Yankees?
Actually, no. Yeah, you're right. This guy did not do it with the Yankees. One of them.
So one of them did not do
yeah,
it. 2
he
of
would
them
have done
did.
it with
Mickey Mantle.
Mickey Mantle is on the list, yes. Doing it with the Yankees.
Joe DiMaggio.
Joe DiMaggio not on the list.
Lou Gehrig.
Lou Gehrig is on the list.
And then there's somebody who
didn't
do it with the Yankees, but ended up being a Yankee.
because he was an American League player.
American League player. Didn't do it with the Yankees, but ended up being a Yankee. Tino Martinez.
Not Tino.
Wade Boggs.
Not Wade Boggs. He was with the Mariners when he did it.
Alex Rodriguez.
Alex Rodriguez, yes. So then we have 2 more.
Okay.
Boston Red Sox and a Detroit Tiger.
Boston Red Sox and a Detroit Tiger. It's definitely
Detroit Tiger is older.
Al Kaline.
Al Kaline, of course.
Baltimore zone. How about
Yes.
that? And the Red Sox would be Jacoby Ellsbury.
Not Jacoby Ellsbury.
Dustin Pedroia.
Not Dustin Pedroia. You're on the right track. The Red Sox infielder.
Nomar Garciaparra.
That is correct.
Okay.
In 1998, Nomar Garciaparra finished. He was the runner-up in MVP voting that year.
I thought he was a Hall of Famer at one point. Obviously, he didn't end up being, but there was a time in his career where he was just ridiculous. God, he was ridiculous. And that era of great shortstops, Jeter, A-Rod, Garciaparra was every ounce in that conversation. And
he hit 372 in 2000.
It was nuts. It was nuts. All right, very good. When we come back in, we'll get tubular and wrap up the show. It's Glenn Clark Radio.
The
Orioles are off and running, out to prove that last season wasn't a fluke, and they are one of the best teams in baseball. Hi, I'm Paul Valley, host of the Bat Around for PressBox. Tune in every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon as Zach Goodman and I break down every Adley bomb, every Tony Tater, and every save from the mountain. Like a warm hug from Rutschman, the Bat Around has you covered with all things Orioles as we embark on what's sure to be a magical summer in Birdland. So tune in every Saturday for the best in Orioles coverage right here on the Bat Around.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today.
Costas Inn has been serving up delicious steamed crabs for over 50 years. Lately, the crabs you want to eat when the weather warms up have gotten harder and harder to get. So get your crab eating game plan in place. Make sure to stick this number on your fridge, 410-477-1975. Call ahead and reserve the size crabs you want. You may be able to walk in, but you may also be disappointed at the size or maybe even get shut out altogether. So call ahead, have a plan, and then arrive on your crab eating vacation. Costas also has delicious crab soup and crab cakes. The Costas Inn at 4100 North Point Boulevard. For more than 50 years, they've been satisfying crab lovers in and around Baltimore.
That first sip. That first bite. Start your day off right with a delicious breakfast at Royal Farms. Choose from a fantastic selection of fresh Royal Farms breakfast sandwiches and top it off with a rich hot cup of the freshest coffee in the world. At Royal Farms, breakfast is available day and night. It's the freshest breakfast in the world. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
If you need more of Glenn, you can also hear him every Sunday with Rita on 105.7 The Fan. But also, if you need more of Glenn, what's wrong with you?
A roundup of some Ravens notes from yesterday as they are wrapping up their mandatory minicamp today out in Owings Mills. I guess not related to practice, but Zay Flowers did sign his rookie deal, $14 million, fully guaranteed. Interesting. I guess that's not that big of a deal because nobody was reacting as if it was a big of a deal, but it did seem odd to me. So
they're all in.
So
$14 million.
Sometimes it's okay to do fully guaranteed. Like I get it, it's not that much money.
How's
So
Lamar Jackson feel?
But it's just weird, right? Like I don't know why that caught me. It was very strange to me. I have not paid attention to like rookie deals in recent years to understand if that's just maybe the way that it works now. I don't know, but 4-year, $14 million fully guaranteed contract for Zay Flowers as he signs his rookie deal with the Ravens. There was a story from The Athletic that Marcus Peters is maybe leaning towards the Raiders, but it's not done. I think a lot of people thought that Adrian Amos was leaning towards the Ravens, and then something changed with the Jets, and he went there. But there was a report hang on. Vic Tafer, I believe, who covers the Raiders, was the one. Let me see if I can pull out the wording.
Let's see.
So, hang on a second.
Is it possible the Ravens then don't do anything at corner? Or
is it possible? Yeah, I mean, anything's possible. I mean, Fuller would still be out there at that point. There was somebody else that Jonas Schaefer brought up to me recently, and I can't even remember off the top of my head who it was. I don't remember if it was somebody who visited. Ay, caramba. All right, here's the wording. The Raiders seem likely to sign veteran cornerback Marcus Peters before training camp. Peters came in for a visit last month, and according to league and team sources, the two sides have stayed in touch as Peters tests the market. The Raiders have other veteran cornerbacks on their list, but Peters could very likely sign with the team that he grew up rooting for as a kid in Oakland. So it's not a done deal by any stretch of the imagination. But I don't think that you're putting that out there unless like there's something to it. You know what I mean? Like I don't think that's the case. Just pulling up, according to NFL.com, he is their highest rated. Bryce Callahan was the other guy.
Gotcha.
Bryce Callahan, who apparently played pretty well for the Chargers last year, was the player that Jonas Schaefer brought up to me.
Anthony Averett still a free agent right now? He was with Las Vegas last year.
I have no idea.
Looking at Spotrac, it says he's available. I'm not sure.
All right.
Up to date. But
he's currently a free agent.
Okay. I mean,
He apparently broke a thumb last year.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I don't know. I could not possibly look. I'm sure, why not? But I don't know that you're bringing Anthony Averett thinking that you've
right.
You've
But, I mean,
addressed something.
with what's
as
out
much as-
there.
I get it. No, Bryce Callahan was the other guy that Jonas Schaefer mentioned to me. That would be a possibility as far as depth is concerned at the cornerback position. And then
Give Richard Sherman a call.
I don't think that one would be the route that they would go. Is he on that stupid Marsh show too? I know Marshawn Lynch is on. Is he also on that dumb show?
Yes, it's Marshawn Lynch and Richard Sherman. Yeah, I guess you're right. They'd have to go over the Fox money.
I don't know about any of that. And then I saw that they made it official that Roquan Smith will wear the green dot this season for the Ravens. Chuck Clark had previously been the wearer of the green dot and the one that was making the calls, but when they brought in Roquan Smith, you had to kind of assume that they thought that would be part of his responsibility moving forward as someone who is credited for being the guy that kind of gets everybody together and puts everybody in the right places. We were talking about that with Chuck Pagano last week on the show. It doesn't surprise anyone at all that Roquan Smith will be the one to make the defensive calls and wear the green dot for the Ravens this season. He got paid $20 million a year. I think that's a reasonable expectation to have about what he can do. Here's what's coming up totally tubular-wise. Tubular is brought to you by PressBoxOnline.com/offers. PressBox is offering new sports bettors the best sign-up bonuses and promos from the 7 legal online sportsbooks here in Maryland. Go to PressBoxOnline.com/offers now and get offers like $150 in bonus bets from DraftKings after you place your first $10 bet, or up to $1,250 in bonus bets from Caesars. Time is limited to get the best offers from all of the sports books. That's PressBoxOnline.com/offers. Sign up today. As we've mentioned a couple of times, Orioles and Blue Jays wrap up their 3-game series with a rubber match today, 1 o'clock. Kikuchi and Wells. If you live elsewhere, good news, it's on MLB Network today, so you'll be able to watch it throughout the country.
And then Norfolk, Grayson Rodriguez. It's the MLB TV free game of the day.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
When is that?
I think around 7.
Okay, so that'll be good, too. If you're an Orioles fan, you can watch Grayson tonight.
The Orioles at 1.
Try to add that to the list then. And Masson, of course, also has Nationals-Astros tonight at 8. U.S. Open coverage begins on USA Network in a few minutes at 12:30. It will shift to NBC at 5 o'clock. Again, it goes a little bit later because they are playing on the West Coast. It feels like ever since NBC got the U.S. Open, they've tried to have more West Coast U.S. Opens to try to turn it into primetime programming. Not for me, but obviously Drew, other people, they'll care about that. So tonight, 5 o'clock is when it moves over to NBC. As we mentioned, CONCACAF Nations League, Mexico and Los Estados Unidos, 10 o'clock tonight on Paramount Plus and Univision in order to watch that.
It's not on Max. Yeah.
It's not. That stinks. That is terrible news for your boy. Do not have Paramount Plus. But do they have a free trial maybe?
I feel like they should, right? That makes sense.
I don't know. I definitely... Apple finally caught on to my game that I was signing up for more and more free trials with different email addresses.
How did they catch on?
I don't know.
No way.
Same IP address, whatever. Like, I definitely think I'd used 5 different email addresses to sign up for free Apples just when the Orioles were on Apple. Because I cancel Apple after Ted Lasso is over. Right? Like, I sign up for Lasso, and then I cancel it again. And so after I canceled it, the Orioles were on, I think the first game was still covered. So the first time they were on Apple this season, I was still covered. And then the one last Friday, I was like, crap, I'm going to have to sign up. And so at 6:45, I'm, making a new email address, like Glenn's dummy email at gmail.com. And I go to sign up, and Apple was like, you are no longer eligible for the free 7-day trial. And I was like, piss.
So did you end up shelving over $8 or whatever?
I did that. Stinks.
They got you again.
They got me again. All the rest of the baseball, find at GlennClarkRadio.com. Amazon Prime tonight for the Atlanta Dream and Connecticut Sun at 7. Seattle Storm and Vegas Aces at 10. Access TV for Impact Wrestling at 8. Non-sports?
Not a whole lot on Paramount Plus. Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 2 premiering on Paramount Plus. And then Netflix Black Mirror Season 6. 5 episodes this season for Black Mirror.
If you say so.
Yeah, if you're into that kind of thing. And then otherwise, not a whole lot. Project Runway Season 20.
I never got into Black Mirror, and maybe I should. Maybe that's
I
on
watched
me.
one of the seasons. I mean, it was like it's good. You know,
I
it's like
did
intense,
finally.
dramatic television.
I did finally this week watch this season of I Think You Should Leave. So I'd finally get all those Club Aqua memes and all of the
Driving Crooner.
The Driving Crooner was good, and the 55 tater tots, 55 pizzas, 55. I finally get.
Let me go.
I finally understand all of that now that you guys have been talking about ever since I watched this week. This season of I Think You Should Leave, which I have said before I have a complicated relationship with because it's very good. Everybody knows that. Although at a point, it's the same character and just different sketches. Like you realize
Which
at some
really
point.
isn't a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing, but like at some point. And the truth is that character, as I've told you guys a million times, was better in Detroiters, which was the greatest show of the modern era, and none of you a-holes watched it. And so that's why I have a complicated
so you're
relationship.
Just sour
I'm so like
that he's having success.
If
and
it
getting
was this
recognized.
on top of Detroiters, I'd be through the moon.
Well, it's still
Or
part
over
of
the
his,
moon, not through the roof.
Still
Over the
part
moon.
of his filmography. You know?
Through the moon. I'm going to stick with that one.
Okay.
But I hate you guys because Detroiters was amazing. None of you watched it, and we lost the greatest show of the modern era because of it. You guys are obsessed with I Think You Should Leave.
What?
Go watch Detroiters.
Is it like on YouTube? Where do I watch it?
Probably on Paramount Plus because it was a Comedy Central show. Probably, if I had to guess, that's where you would find it.
NFL Films is also apparently having trouble finding a team for Hard Knocks.
I saw that. They end up just having to force somebody to do Hard Knocks.
Yeah, they can. Well, so they reached out to the Lions again for a second consecutive season.
They are
They're
America's.
pretty
They
good
are
team.
the darlings
There's,
of the NFL.
I don't know how the rules work, but there are 4 teams apparently they can force to do it, and that would.
I think one of them is the Jets, isn't it?
Yes, the Jets.
And that's
the
what
Saints.
everybody's rooting for it to be the Jets because they
Which probably. Yeah,
I mean,
Jets would be definitely.
That'd be the most compelling, given.
So I guess I don't know, why wouldn't they force them to?
Who are the others?
Saints, Commies, and the Bears. Which really.
I mean, the Bears would be like I am much higher on the Bears than everybody else's. Like if we did today, what are your picks for this season? The Bears would be my pick to win the NFC
DJ
North.
Moore, Justin Fields is exciting.
Justin Fields is exciting, and if he took any step forward, like I said, if he took a Lamar Jackson step forward, they could win the NFC. If he just took any step forward as a passer, now he's got a full season Claypool and DJ Moore out there. They addressed the offensive line in the draft. Like all of a sudden, and they after losing Roquan Smith, they really upgraded an inside linebacker with Edwards and Edmonds. Like, I'm enamored with the Bears.
Maybe in season do the Bears, and then
maybe
for training camp.
I think Justin
would
Fields.
See the Lions or the Jets.
I am not. I just don't share with everybody else's fascination with the Lions. I just don't share it.
Well, you got Dan Campbell.
That's everybody's in love with Dan Campbell. He's America's sweetheart.
Gibbs,
yeah, that doesn't
throwing shade at Nick Saban.
That doesn't do much for me. The Jahmyr Gibbs thing. But the Bears are like. I'm all in. I'm all in on the. I'm gonna make reckless statements about the Bears going into this season. Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm gonna put American dollars on the Bears to win the NFC North. I assume.
Have fun, yeah.
I assume. Boy, that's an interesting question. How would those teams be ranked in terms of? Because a lot of people are believers that Jordan Love
is a guy.
Yep.
Even though he's
the Vikings have been a pretty consistent safe bet.
Still have Justin Jefferson.
So is the Diggs thing just over? Like, did it just?
They shook hands yesterday. Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs did a high five.
But what did he ever say? What the problem was? Did we ever get an answer about it?
I'm sure we'll get another Instagram post in July.
Like, what was that? It just ended. Like it was.
It's June football.
I don't watch any. I don't watch any of these shows, but I'm assuming it was all any of these shows we're talking about, and then it was just gone. Like it just ended. Hang on, divisions.
This is June football. That's what
NFC North. The Bears are the last, but this is there. There's no division where the odds are more bunched up together than the NFC North. So
probably best value there, I guess, because every team has a.
Well, everybody's plus money,
chance.
right? Like everybody's plus money. The Lions plus 145, the Vikings plus 270, the Packers plus 350, the Bears.
So the Lions are the favorite.
The Bears plus 420. They're America's team. That's who everybody's betting on. The closest as far as disparity from top to bottom is why do they list it this way? They list the AFC West like the Raiders are the second favorite. The Raiders are plus 1,200, so they're definitely not the second favorite. I don't know what's going on there.
They're trying to get people to bite. Well, there's nothing.
The
to get
next
excited about
closest
there.
is the AFC North. The next closest is
where each team is
Bengals plus 125, Ravens plus 240, Browns plus 390, Steelers plus 500. But
Might
the
have to make
Steelers,
some divisional parlays.
the Steelers
here.
have longer odds than
Ravens
the Bears
plus
do.
240.
Plus 240, yeah.
All right.
I like a nice little. I like a Ravens Bears parlay.
Yeah.
Make a little money there.
Throw the Eagles in there.
Problem is
'cause
health is such a part of the story. The Patriots are the longest odds in the AFC East at plus 750. The Texans. That's surprising that the Texans don't have longer odds. They're only at plus 800. The Commanders plus 1,000.
just because the division sucks.
Yeah, but I mean the Jaguars. I think everybody has accepted are
Yeah,
really
yeah.
good, and the Jaguars
But they're, I
are
guess,
are
yeah.
minus 160. The Jaguars are the biggest favorite.
Of any division.
No,
Chiefs
I take
have
that
to be,
back. The
right?
Chiefs are tied, and the 49ers are minus 165. So the 49ers
We don't have a quarterback, or at least haven't named one.
Well, they haven't. But we think that
It's Sam Darnold, yeah.
correct. Exactly right. That's exactly what we think it is. The Commanders plus 1,000, the Buccaneers plus 600, but that's only because that division stinks.
That's true. That
If there was
division- that
one,
division.
if there was
the Texans
one
could
good,
win that one.
yeah, they absolutely could win that one. If there was one good team in the NFC South, the Buccaneers would probably be plus 1,000 or more, and then the Cardinals have the longest odds of anyone in football by far at plus 2,400. Plus, everybody else is plus 1,000.
Oh my god.
Then they're plus 2,400. So that's that. All right, thanks today to Drew Forrester. Thanks to Matt Swope, new baseball coach, University of Maryland. Thanks to Justin Armbruester. We'll get it all up in the greatest hits section of the
Oh my god, it's so good.
tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. Anything tomorrow?
Stuff and things. We will be taking a trip to Norfolk.
Well, we hope.
Yes.
We hope we'll be taking
Yeah, I
a
mean,
trip to
unless the Orioles keep sending guys
Yeah,
back
right.
up and down.
Stuff and things. Thanks to everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including the Baltimore Orioles, Glory Days Grill, Royal Farms, Costas Inn, All-American Lacrosse, Birdland Sports, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Thursday evening. Go Birds. Duke sucks.